Wait, no, it was 2018. You're right. Yeah,
playing basically exactly the same style. Doesn't matter. They're like KT, but less tragic. You know, KT's a tragedy. This is more of a, I don't know, your preferred genre, comedy.
Yeah, it's
action movie, of course. There you go.
Yeah, it's a little bit different because KT have been a tragedy forever, so you're not still sad. It's like a dull throb that never goes away.
It's also, you know, a tragedy in the classic sense, not in the, because they're also good.
Yeah.
It's more you can feel the inevitable bad ending will at some point approach. A feeling that any KT fan will be very familiar with, as thus far we are seeing some very clear targeting towards Diablo, which is warranted given how well he's been playing. A lot of really good picks still open. Jace.
Yeah, the Jace and the Rumble. That is sort of the big ones when we're looking towards the top side of the map. Will be the Rumble taken away? I think Dudu has been great at the champion, but his Jace is also pretty strong. And banning away both Rumble and Gwen does make things a little bit more difficult. Of course, Jace kind of not too worried about either of those matchups in particular. And there are options you can take into it. Will it just be the clear Scion once again?
Or is it clear Nidalee?
Ooh.
Because I thought that matchup was a little closer than it was, and then I saw it, and I no longer think that. So we'll see if that is what brings an end to the terror that Jace has brought to the top lane for the entirety of LCK thus far. As Zin's out, best jungler on the patch that is allowed to be played. Vi is the actual best one, but she's not allowed to be played.
Nope.
As we have seen countless times. And Jace does get locked in. Jace is there. It doesn't tell you anything. It's just good.
It is. You can... I think taking the Azir away from Pongyan is a good move. Vikla has also been gravitating towards this pick, so it makes a fair bit of sense there. The other option I would have looked at was something like a Sejuani that you could then use and then maybe go for some double melee type situations. But Vikla has lost every single game he's played on a melee champion so far here in the LCK, so understandable that they're going to keep him away from it. As Pongyan undefeated so far on this Taliyah, and they will be locking it in. Taliyah Zin's out, also a lot of power in that mid lane as far as that 2v2.
Pongyan going to be happy with that. Picks up the Taliyah. Has been a really, really solid pick thus far on the patch. And it's also one of the picks that's good enough to still get... I don't know about that. I don't like that. That matchup is very rough in the early laning phase. And for DN Freaks, I know the laning phase have actually been pretty decent. I don't think you should try and play from deficits when your biggest weakness is turning leads into anything. And your team fighting isn't great. But that's what they're going to do. Is Diablo still somehow, despite all of this, gets his hands on Azrael, which is great into what the DN Freaks have. As long as he doesn't get tagged by a stray ultimate from Dudu, going to be in a prime position in this game. The poke, the range, BNK feeling great. Now tank jungler for Raptor, some engage for Kellen.
Yep.
That's a good comp.
And you've got a fair few options as well. I think maybe you could ban away, I don't know, Skarner's Edge. They could do something like that just to try and limit the tank options that Raptor has and make sure that Kellen can't go on to a range support and really just ruin their day on that bottom side of the map. But I don't know whether that will even be enough necessarily, because there is a lot still left open. There's the Nautilus to be taken away here.
I would like a Poppy ban. Raptor going to Poppy, I think, makes perfect sense here. You're playing it into Ambessa, you're playing it into Xin Zhao. Obviously not able to actually win the duels against the Xin Zhao, but just not allowing him to jump into your backline uncontested. And it's a great combo with that Azir. So that seems to me like a no-brainer ban. Skarner is annoying to play into, but I don't think he's quite as oppressive as a Poppy can be, but it's going to be the Skarner instead.
Damn it, they were listening to me, but I think that you were right.
And the Poppy here also can still be swapped to support.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful lock-in. It's so clean. If BNK do it, they're going to look for the button, and there it is. Imagine just having an R4 flex Poppy that can go into either role that you have still left up. You could even go jungle Jace if you feel like, put Poppy in the top lane. You can't do that, guys.
Okay, you can't.
That was...
I was... I parsed it for a second. Like,
yeah,
wait,
don't do that.
No.
Don't even allow that to happen.
Well,
Azir jungle on the other hand.
There has been eras of BNK where they played Azir top, okay? We all remember Dove.
Yeah.
Berserker Hover Jhin was like, I need to play a hyper carry, and I'm with you. I'm with you, Berserker. You do need to play a hyper carry.
Yeah.
Lock it in. Gonna be Leona, Alistair,
Kai'Sa Rel.
Rel.
Doesn't feel great into Poppy, but instead it's going to be the Nico.
I don't love that.
Yeah, picking the Nico face up is kind of dangerous.
Yeah, I would have liked hard engage with that composition as well.
Yeah.
Because it makes it a lot more consistent. I think they still have great ways to start fights with either Pioshik or Dudu throwing themselves into the enemy team, but yeah, so you have, you're on blue side. You have one winning lane, and that's the Taliyah, and that's not a hard. Like Taliyah shouldn't really stomp lanes,
right? It's an even lane, yeah.
You should be able to get prio. You're not really threatened by the Azir either. I think the Taliyah, but you have both your side lanes. I think are hard losing. And you're playing into Poppy.
And you also make walls for Poppy.
Yeah, I don't love what DNF have set up here. They do have great ways to enable Berserker, which that's kind of the go-to when any DNF draft comes through. It's like, does Berserker get to play the game? If he can get through the laning phase, which the laning phase should be very rough, and they're going up against, and I think we need to, if you haven't tuned into any LCK, this is a factual statement, one of the best 2v2 bot lanes we have in the league at the moment.
I know.
Which, that's the objective truth.
And they're playing Ezreal Karma, which is just a whole lot of shove. Like, I share your level of worry, but I am also adding some pride to it. I'm very proud of Ryu for turning around what was some abysmal drafting in their previous series.
Really called
it bothered me a lot. It bothered me a lot. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay, we can work through it on this first game.
That's what we're going to do, and already things looking good. That's looking like an A+ from me. And on the side of the DM Freaks, a little bit more rough. Still, only game number 1. Let's get into it, see how everything goes.
시간차의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Wow, that Karma skin is just doing a whole lot of stuff. Lots of butterflies going on there. You'll love to see it. As Kellen already dancing around towards that bottom side. It looks like we're just going to have a very defensive start for both teams. Can the DN Freaks show us that this is not actually 2 losing lanes on blue side? Can they show us that instead, Dudu is just incredibly good at Ambessa and it doesn't matter that Clear is on the Jace? Are they going to show us that in fact, Kai'Sa Nico can do some crazy things here in this bottom lane and not just get poked to death and die?
I want to defend DN Freaks a little bit, because the Ambessa in particular, and I argue the Nico as well, to me feel like you're the coach, right? And your player is just like, Dudu has had actually a decent performance. It's like, I need Ambessa, I want to carry. I know the matchup is bad, I can get through it early, but I need to be on something with agency that I feel comfortable on. Because they've been losing so much, they are completely lacking confidence. Is that worth it? But that's not the mantra one though, so could have been worse. See when Kellen chooses to use that. That's where a lot of the damage is going to come from. There it is. Ooh.
Owie. Okay.
That for me explains the Ambessa. The Nico though, I'm not so sure about. Obviously, it could have been an engage support and then they counterpick with like a Braum or they swap the Poppy. I still feel like that's not as bad because you get more guaranteed value. If this was a dive come from BNK, I think the Nico makes sense. But it's Jace, Ezreal, and Azir. And Karma, like that.
There's a fair few disengage options.
There's a lot of disengage.
As the Blooming Bursts are at least doing a fair bit of work here, as my goodness, the poor little minion getting obliterated. Of course, Life's health bar is actually not doing too badly. Scallan just continuing to be as frustrating as possible. His ranged support play has always been sort of the better in his wheelhouse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so feeling pretty comfortable on the Karma right now, as we can see. Him and Diablo just continuing their reign of terror on bottom lanes throughout the LCK. This game so far not different at all. 300 gold is already the advantage that BNK VODs have actually put together. And as we watch this lane play out, you can understand why. Elsewhere, it is very even though, so it's just an advantage that's being picked up over here. Oh my goodness.
That's not going to get better. Like that's...
Yeah, we already kind of, we set the stage for this. The question, I guess, is, what's the payoff for putting up with it, you know?
The payoff for the Nico. The Kai'Sa, to me, makes a lot more sense given how the team has played, right? Berserker is the one player on this team that's looked good. Kai'Sa has great carry potential. It's a good matchup into Ezreal once you get out of lane. I get that. Let's keep going back to this Ambessa and this Nico.
Well, BNK are looking to try and kill Dudu here. Doesn't manage to get the heroic charge, and so Raptor is just going to book it out of there. Will allow him to escape. No flash burnt for Dudu, but you can see Clear still with teleport up and available. Doesn't have to sacrifice all too much, as he will be able to head back to this lane pretty immediately. You can see Ambessa hasn't been doing a whole lot of winning, but the teams that Ambessa has been played by have also not been doing very much winning, and I don't know whether it's necessarily been Ambessa's fault.
Yeah, we've seen Ambessa really fall out of the, what was it, the first 3 weeks, where it was every first game was Gwen Jace if neither or either were banned, and then the second one would be Ambessa Rumble, or any combination of those. But the Ambessa has not looked very convincing, and I believe it's because her laning phase is not nearly as impressive as many of those other ones, right? Gwen, ever since her changes, is just an all-around beast, doesn't really matter at what point in the game. Jace is really strong at any point in the game, doesn't really matter what. And Rumble, just as it's Rumble. Yeah, he provides a lot of teamfight value. I do think his laning has gotten so much less oppressive. He's not really picked for that anymore. It's just the guaranteed teamfight win button if you get some good setup. Is Pungyan gonna see Kellen? He obviously is the only one that I think is feeling great about his matchup. He's just having a good time playing the Taliyah, trying to scale. And again, I think that Bulldog, unfortunately, like many players on the DNF, has not been able to hold up to his own level that he set, the standard he set for himself in 2023, where he had weak moments, sure, but he also consistently had great moments, which we haven't seen any of this season.
No.
And I'm just happy, as Valdez also highlighted, we'll keep going back to this, that Pungyan gets to play an actual game and not play against the best mid laner in the world. That's nice. Now, that's a big win. It's not Chovy again.
Exactly. And Dudu's going to have his back interrupted, which is just annoying. You can see a demolished proc, so that might even just be 2 plates eradicated here. No cannon in this wave, so that one is just gone. And so this is what Raptor's been afforded, right? The bottom lane, a whole lot of pressure that Diablo and Kellen have been putting on, very even in mid, and it just means that he can kind of babysit Clear and make sure that Dudu has no way of getting anywhere near this an advantage in this lane. That's going to spell some grubs here at the same time, as BNK might lose a dragon for it. We shall see. Raptor already moving down, and it looks like Pyosik not going to be able to get in there, as Pungyan in a little bit of trouble, but so is Vikla. He's going to have to go back home here. Wind becomes lightning, and Pyosik going to be able to bully them away, but you can see Kellen fight. Well, they can definitely see Kellen. Just spotted on that Scryer's Bloom. There's Diablo moving back down towards the bottom lane, and it looks like we are just going to have this dragon ignored for the minute.
And neither team really wants to risk going too aggressive in on the Baron and getting punished. Pungyan did make sure that Vikla couldn't roam. Both of them not having the TP available. Pungyan with a slight lead should also be able to get this wave shot, then as Pyosik helps him with the reset. And Pungyan, having his wall available, does mean that he can a lot more easily join some of these fights, as looks like it's just a 2-for-1 grub exchange in the long run.
Yep. And no one being able to pick up an objective feat of strength just yet, as Diablo playing very aggressively, actually throws down the barrier in that trade. Blooming Burst going to miss, though. That does mean that at least BNK are going to win out in the damage trade.
He is really a believer in the school of Atlas. Just use the skill.
Oh yeah, as long as it's ticking, like the CD's ticking down, you're getting value.
Right there. That ult didn't hit anything, doesn't matter. It's a cooldown now. And with your passive, you're gonna blast through that in seconds.
What if it had have hit, though, you know? Like,
even more infinite value.
Exactly. Well, right now, it is very close to a Tangle Barbs. Not quite working out there as Kellen. So much value with the Mantra Q, as now Dudu having to try and get away from Clear here, as the public execution isn't great. He's going to need another shot. Finds an auto. Needs another one, though. There it is. And it's a first blood solo kill here on the top side of the map as Pioshik's coming in, looking to try and see whether he can get a follow-up kill. That hammer boop's going to have to be necessary here as level 6 has been claimed. Starts off with the ulti, pushes clear into the wall, and there's the boop away. Flash forward here from Pioshik, almost gets out. But Pioshik is able to finish it off in the end. Sad for Dudu that there is not enough to get him an assist in that trade as well. Waited too long. And so it is still just kind of doomed for the top laner of DNF.
That's nice for Pioshik. It's a necessity to not make this game feel really, really sad for DN Freaks. But it's still not great. Clear's just going to be able to TP back. I want to see what the setup is here. Because this must be a bait based on how insanely... Like, because we know Pioshik is towards the top of the map, but Dudu, why are you going in that early? It's Jay sitting on a serrated Dirk. You don't win this matchup early.
Yeah. It's the woes of Dudu in 2025 , man. This guy we know has been so good in the past.
I just got it. After Keen has left, for all of his struggles, he's placed a curse on this position.
Oh no, it's defense against the dark arts.
It's everyone, because Keen, he somehow maintained his form. We never really thought about how he was able to do that. After all those years.
It doesn't get better here for Dudu, apparently. As Clear is going to grab yet another kill. Raptor very comfortably comes on over, finds the heroic charge this time around. And Pongyan going to look to try and answer here as he throws the wall down, but I think he's just hoping that this experience goes to at least someone.
I wish it wasn't Endesa. I don't think the gameplay has helped, but we do...
They hovered Sion.
We do have to keep going back. At least with Sion, you get the waves.
And dying's a good thing on Sion.
Yeah.
I learned that in Europe.
It's true.
Yeah.
You can get away with a lot on Sion. Provide guaranteed value.
Okay, now Clear. Possibly under fire, is going to spot Pioshik as he makes his way over. Pongyan not going to be able to get in there though, and there is nothing here to help tank this one up. As Clear is going to have to go back to base. But he's going to be able to trade positions here with Vikla, who just comes up to catch the wave. And now Kellen, looking to go aggressive here towards his bottom side of the map. Has the Inspire movement speed, but he is just zoning. And Life now finds himself in a whole bunch of trouble. Voidseeker comes in, and there's the flash forward. Raptor already getting out of there, because cool guys, they do not look at explosions. They are often yordles with hammers. And that is more plates going on over to BNK FearX. Berserker at least gets down here to try and grab the wave, but oh dear, this is not great news. Look at Diablo still going forward, even with Pioshik in the area. And Pioshik, yeah, just kind of walking around in circles saying, I'm here to help, but he's not really able to.
Oh, Atlas, 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 Atlas. This is the feeling that you get when you watch your buddy tilt Q and you're like, you should have stopped 3 games ago.
Yeah.
Like all of this, right? The fact that Dudu's getting dove and Raptor making a consistent impact on the map. The fact that we see Berserker flash just to desperately stay alive as the Poppy is running towards him and then has to ult defensively just to not get murdered by Diablo on the PTAS reel. The item spikes are done. Clear, by the way, who went for a Serpent's Fang first.
Huh. We're trading flashes for ult. That's probably good for DN Freaks.
Yeah, it's a good win. That's something.
Yeah, that was a whole lot of weird buttons being pressed.
It's a start, Atlas. I need more. Come on, DN Freaks.
Well, Voidseeker is at least going to hit that minion. Berserker is making money. He's very, very close as far as the farm is concerned, but you can see 500 gold in the lead is Diablo. And that is largely to do with the amount of crockery he has collected from that turret. And yeah, this does not get better, does it? And the Eclipse gets built, and then first item, Serpent's Fang, like you were talking about, that feels terrible.
Yeah, and Bessa's already
you're
relying on her shield
Shields
to
everywhere.
get good trades. A part of this is Dudu. Part of this is also Rapture, and we get a, unfortunately for Pioshik, we have not seen the Zinzao pay off. Maybe towards top now he can make something happen, but
see, may not have had that ultimate up and available if he hadn't have used it earlier.
Right. Has he used what, 2 ults since? Doesn't matter.
There we go.
Timing. think back to the repercussions of that earlier play.
And you might say, well, he missed the first one. Yeah, but like he at least got to throw it.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
Diablo knows this.
And if it's there, up and available, then the cooldown could be like 400 years, and it wouldn't matter. You gotta put it on cooldown to make that one work. As Heroic charge, and where did she go? All right, Keeper's Verdict is in, and it says that Nico is out, as is the rest of the DNF Freaks. First turret will go down here as BNK grab themselves some feats of strength. They already had all of the kills, and they are able to lock down the turret as well. And this game is very quickly becoming
Atlas,
impossible.
life flash.
Before your eyes?
No, I wish, but life flashed as he died there. I assume he tried to flash.
Yeah, he tried to flash to not get heroically charged, and then
still
got heroically
still
charged.
got it, and then the flash went off, and now he doesn't have flash for a re-engage.
But now it's at least ticking down, you know. Because now if he doesn't need to flash for the next few minutes, then, you know, he's still getting value of the flash.
But he didn't get value, though! He didn't get value, Atlas!
Whoa, public execution as Dudu looking to try and go for it here, just gets a hammer, as Voidseeker is not going to find. And Kellen in position here. So yeah, nothing really going to...
They were looking, I imagine, for a Berserker play, because he had his ultimate available, and they were pathing up top. He had plasma stacks on him. But then they realized that Dudu doesn't do damage, and Clear took basically no damage, and I think if Berserker ulted in, that would have been very bad news.
Well, now it's 5 grubs to 1 as well. BNK were also able to grab the 2 dragons as we continue on our obscene amount of Chemtech Drakes, Chemtech Souls that we've had here in the LCK.
You know,
4 minutes until that one.
Might be the only upside of this game if it continues the way that it has. Because there's been 1 kill, we don't have to have the perfect game discussion again, Atlas.
And it's the 1 grub situation.
Well, that's my point.
Well,
otherwise, you know that's what we would have gone towards.
I know.
We can't let it rest.
Yep. Thankfully, there was that 1 kill. So it's not a perfect game, but it's pretty close. Definitely pretty close.
Yeah.
A perfect game.
BNK have been BNK and the org as a whole has been a team that definitely we have given a lot of criticism over the years for playing fast and loose with their leads. They played fast and loose from behind as well.
BNK doing the let's make multiple plays at the same time thing. Vikla gonna have to flash. Get out of the way of that one. DN Freaks planning on defending the mid lane instead of top, and that means that Clear is able to come on over and take solo turret gold.
Pumyon is really trying. By the way, so many of these
His Talia is really good, as that was a late steadfast presence here. Good knock up here from Goshik as well, as Raptor just flashes over the wall. He's able to get himself out, and I guess it's fine.
Runs it off. He has Hex Flash, actually enabling.
There we go.
Oh, and then they get...
Yeah, and they lose out of turret in mid for it. And top lane. As
and also they're going to lose Herald.
Sometimes you make a play, and everything goes wrong. And this is one of those times. DN Freaks now down about 4,000 gold as we tick towards 17 minutes in this game.
Yeah, in this first game of the Saturday show, it feels more like the morning massacre. Atlas, this
the Saturday SmackDown.
It's not good. It's not even like the BNK comp skills poorly. The only thing you could argue is that their engage can be a little iffy, right? If Raptor doesn't have flash, can be a bit telegraphed. But they have so much range. And DN Freaks, they lose the range battle. I don't think their engage is good, which with this comp can work if you are in control of the map. Because if you're in control of the map, you know, it's really easy for Ambassador to flank angles. You can deny vision. They have to walk into the traps of Nico and Talia. But they're down almost 5k gold.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's not exaggerate. It's 4.2.
There we go.
Yeah!
That sounds better. Doesn't feel much better. If we have a look at the results, because so far we are looking for another dragon. That'd be Soul Point going over to BNK, unless Goshik can get something done. Does manage to lock down the Raptor camp, and we know that Raptor does like Raptors. Now Dudu looking for an opportunity, doesn't find the ultimate though, unfortunately, as Clear still could be in trouble. Punyan coming on over, there's a Pop Blossom onto 2 Seismic Shove there at the same time. They have only just managed to take down the Jace. And the fight will continue. Diablo finding some autos onto Pungyan here, as this is a very aggressive position for the Ezreal. Finally, Vikla makes his way forward. The rocks are on the ground, and he was still just biding his time. Up goes the Sun Disc, and BNK, they just lose their Jace, but still a good trade for DN Freaks.
I'll take it. That's a sign of life. They got clear. Did have to invest a decent amount. Life's Flash, I do think, is very valuable for DN Freaks, so I'm not happy about that investment. But they're doing stuff. That's all we can ask for.
Yep.
They made a proactive play, went onto Clear, got his flash and took him down. So Clear, still his movement speed, able to sidestep the initial ult there, but then nice wall here. And again, Pungyan, he's trying. Drops the wall in time as well for Life to easily make his way over. Just nicely done there. And then follows up off the flick back, or the stun rather, with his flick back. I still think they lose Drake. The game is still not in a much better state, but we got to hold on to what we have.
Signs of life. Signs of life are important and definitely something that we want to see. No pun intended, of course. It's hard when life's in the game. Yeah, Raptor and Diablo getting to work here on Soul Point. And that is one of the issues in going for a fight like that, using a lot of resources, because then you don't have those resources for when Soul Point is up and available. So now BNK with a whole lot of extra power, as Vikla almost able to grab that cannon. He didn't care about locking down Dudu. Now he's angry because he missed a cannon, as Kellen not going to be able to find the Q. And you're right, there is no turret. And he just puts the Ambassador on a leash. Raptor looking to find his way into the fight. But with some defense by the DN Freaks bottom lane, they're able to get the Poppy out of there. So
good escort.
Yeah, kind of all right.
Escort mission successful. Dudu does make it out.
Oh, Life finding the Tangle Barbs. He throws down the ulti. Pop Blossom's good, but Vikla just gets over the wall. That was a bit of a journey that he went on there. Like to see it. As Clear was in the meantime taking down an inner turret. Owie. Shock Blast would have hurt. Didn't actually land, so it's going to be fine. Kellen now in trouble as the wall comes on through. Flashes, still dies. Think that was definitely going to happen, as Keeper's Verdict gets rid of one. Berserker has to flash to get out of the heroic charge, but now Pureshik is all alone in front of 4 people. He's going to have to flash himself, and now it's Clear that's in an awkward spot. This is a very strange scenario, as there's a public execution, finds Diablo in the backline as the Sun Disc goes up and the seismic shove does go wide. BNK showing some cracks in the armor here in the mid-game.
A little bit of funneling there by BNK.
Yeah.
In 1-by-1.
Not emphasis on the fun as well.
Well, it's fun for DN Freaks.
True.
Which is big, as they do in fact fight. This setup here looks a bit dicey, but thanks to the ultimate, Raptor is able to at least open the way to Berserker. Yes, Berserker flashes, which otherwise would have definitely meant the end to that fight. And then here, I imagine Clear's like, I'm dead anyway, so I might as well try to do damage, which I think is fine. The issue is that then the rest of his team also gets baited in, which ends up giving up Diablo's flash.
Yeah.
Which is a big win.
Every heroic charge was avoided, by the way. Yeah. Really, really nicely. Dudu able to dash out of it. The flash out from Berserker was great to start the fight. So the DN Freaks able to mitigate the value of this Poppy.
Guess what?
What's up?
Berserker hasn't died yet. The Nexus is still intact.
Oh, okay.
He's still here.
100% win rate. That's, I guess, why BNK were like beelining for him. They're like, we only need to kill him once, and then we definitely win the game.
They definitely knew about that stat.
Oh, 100%. And they cared about it as well. Our teams always do. As Diablo able to push this wave through, and it looks like Otacon is going to be the consideration.
That's a lot of pings, DN Freaks. I don't know about that.
Raptor's got a cool knapsack as well.
Well, Clear is on the other end of the map, and Clear doesn't have TP, whereas Pungyan does.
Well, DN Freaks on vision here. As Pureshik looking to clear some of that out. But with Diablo setting up in mid, will mean that DN Freaks going to have to answer this wave that is going to march on down.
Oh, Raptor went Trailblazer. That's kind of cute.
Pureshik going to get pushed back here by Vikla, but maybe Vikla didn't like that decision. Pop Blossom is on to 2. The wall coming through as well, but the Nico is already dead. Just a little too early, is now Pungyan having to deal with Diablo. The flash has to come out, but once again, Dudu is surgical with this public execution. Still, Diablo is going to survive. Oh my god, the Raptors almost killed him. Raptor, you have to be so careful.
He
Okay.
should know! His name is Raptor!
Exactly! Maybe he was like, well, I'm a Raptor. I can talk to the Raptors. They will not mess with my friend.
He did the Chris Pratt move, you know? He's like holding up the hands. He's like, whoa, whoa, calm down, And then...
Jurassic World, that documentary was fantastic. I loved it.
I know, riveting stuff. And it worked.
You know, there's a new one. There's a new one coming out, narrated by David Attenborough. It's going to be fantastic. The next season of the Dinosaurs documentary, it's very
You're
cool.
completely losing me, Atlas. I've only watched the one Jurassic World movie. The rest, I don't know if they're worth it.
No, this is an actual documentary.
Okay,
Let's have a look at the replay.
Losing me. The fact that Diablo stays alive here is painful for the DN Freaks, but doesn't really change the fight, even if he ends up going down. The damage was already done before that. And whereas that engage from Life was very good, there was no follow-up. So then the question becomes, was it a good engage if there's no one there?
Yeah, it would have been a good, like, a practice tool engage, you know? And then the feedback would be, oh, now it'd be great if you found the right time to go for it.
Yeah, I can really relate to that.
Yeah.
I played a bit of support, and I'm like, oh, I'm going in, and then I hit the hook, and I'm like, hell yeah, and then I look, and there's no one near, and they definitely
It's like playing
gonna
Hecarim.
be.
You know, you find the sweet onslaught of shadows, and then you notice the rest of your team is actually
And
7 screens
they turn
away.
on you and two-tap you because
Yeah.
you're a hacker. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, I got a 5-man. It's heroic charge, but Raptor is now having to deal with everyone. He runs really, really fast, so he's able to get out.
Speedy.
Yeah, the knapsack and the phase rush really helping him out here. As Pioshik's on vision, starts up the dragon here for BNK. This is Soul, remember?
It's kind of doable, but Pioshik is low.
Oh, Pangyan, we're looking for the wall. And he throws it down. It's in an odd position. He wants to lock down Kellen, but he has Flash. As the Keeper's verdict is just going to be thrown. Raptor, can he keep him out? No, he can! Oh my god, somehow it's Vikla that locks down the dragon. Not sure how that really worked here as Dudu gets over the wall, just trying to escape other DN Freaks. His life once again. That's a great ultimate, buddy, but it's just not going to help you at all.
I was half expecting Diablo to flash over that wall the way he's been playing, but instead...
How did the Drake stay alive with like 3 health for so long? That was so stressful.
I don't know. Apparently, Diablo lived with 2 health in the previous Raptor play. I think the Drake hits the same. So here the call from DN Freak clearly is we're going to turn on Kellen. We don't think we can get the Drake.
And health.
Yeah, as it is picked up by Vikla somehow.
Well, it was because Pioshik was kept out. The step-fast presence timing was really good by Raptor.
Yeah, which was Raptor also whipped his ult, but then kind of clutched it afterwards, which was an interesting sequence of events. But then this is where we're really starting to see the very deep-rooted issues for DN Freaks, because why are Dudu and Pioshik not in the same comms as the rest of the team? Like, this keeps happening.
Yeah.
We have Pungyan and Berserker who are very clearly wanting to be a part of the fight, and they just don't. They don't find an angle. They're not given an angle. Now you're playing into a Chemtech sold up poke comp with Karma.
Ooh, speaking of Karma, Blast Cone is going to come on through. Great knock up there from Pioshik to try and interrupt it, but still Mega Cone is going to get enough distance. Zerka's almost just dead as Diablo walks out of the seismic shove. He only E's forward, man. I've only seen him E towards stuff he wants to hurt. That is how this guy plays, and I am absolutely loving it. So is he. 1.2k, the gold advantage just between the 80 carries. True Shot Barrage. Oh,
Come on.
Really tempted to just go straight back home. Remember, Ruinous Archon is up and available. BNK Furex have 4 Drakes. And so it would be a lot of power if they were to lock that one down. I kind of just want to see the extra statistics they're able to put together. Instead, they're going to go for this inner turret. Pungyan comes on over, but it's not really going to help them. It goes down once again. The E forward, obviously. Heroic charge finds an angle onto Pioshik. He does have the ulti, but they all get into the circle. Diablo just able to take him out, and the seismic shove does nothing. It's another kill for the Ezreal as we zoom in on a possible teleport ward. But you've got 2 dead. You're just not going to really make anything happen.
Did Life die off screen? That was just Pioshik,
Oh,
right?
was that we were zooming in on a corpse? I thought we were just zooming in on a ward that someone could teleport to.
I don't know. There's too much happening, and none of it is good for DN Freaks.
Oh, did Life actually transform into a ward and then died, and then it's the corpse of a ward that we saw?
I don't know, but I do.
We're going to have a look at it one more time.
There you go, yeah.
Aha. Ah, so this was just Life sandwiched. Yeah, so we weren't looking at the ward. I should have looked at the lady in a chameleon suit. Makes more sense.
Not much to say. BNK are monstrously far ahead, so they just go in. Look at Diablo here as well, by the way. Like, the fact he's just in forward into that circle to kill him, then sweet little sidestep there.
Yep.
To make sure.
He's been frontlining all game.
Well, even if he gets flicked back there, like he has flash, he's Barry, and he has a Karma with heal, so he would never die. The fact he doesn't get hit by it, I respect that.
Pop Blossom comes through. Raptor's now in potentially a bit of trouble as Clear dives on top of Berserker. He knows exactly what his target is. The Q is on the floor and he gets a double! What the hell, Raptor? That was obscene! And now it's Diablo's turn, chasing after Pyoshik here. He's got a red buff. It is ticking, and I don't think that this Xin Zhao is going anywhere. Yeah, he's just going to stand still because he knows that he'll just have absolutely no way to do anything. This could just be game, set, and match as Vikler diving on to Dudu, throws away the ulti because, yeah, you may as well. Some Conquering Sands coming down, but he doesn't really need to conquer the Sands. They're looking to take down the Nexus, and that will be taken out. Pengyan, unfortunately, going to suffer a loss on his Talia, but not before killing Diablo and possibly keeping this game alive.
They can hold.
All right, never mind. Winnable.
No, it's not. Because you know who just died? Berserker.
Huh.
He has the one death.
Oh, no.
It's GG.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was his first death.
That was the first death.
Oh, that is catastrophic.
I get why DNF freaks try to do this. And I would pose, I don't think Jace that builds full lethality should be this tanky. That seems like that should not be a thing.
Look at that second proc of the Q.
The Q, yeah, it was juicy. He's you know, Sunlit Sky, a decent amount of damage. He's good levels.
Yeah.
But yeah, Claire, not the best target.
Being all sneaky here as DNF going for that desperation Baron. You'll also see it. True Shot Barrage just used to check the Otacon. The rest of the team going to be here. The minion goes in. All right, yeah, Life looking for that angle. Does find the double Pop Blossom here as Raptor. He's pretty tanky, but he's not quite tanky enough. Vikler's like done with this game almost entirely. Is the public execution going to be used onto Diablo? They're just trying to buy time though. Diablo wanting to take down whoever he can, whichever straggler they can find. Pengyan will get on over here though, as now Vikler needs to work out what he wants to do. Is it going to be kill the Talia? And the answer is yes. And now with one extra super minion here in the mid lane, Life, you're not going to survive that, buddy. And one after the other, they are diving forward. Oh, the Void Seeker would have been the end of him. Dude does find the angle though. They can hold again. You're exactly right, Chronicler. They can indeed hold.
We might have given up on DNF. Baron and Elder are up.
I'm looking at my hands. I just can't see the game on them, you know?
But
it's still going. But it hasn't appeared on my hands yet.
I think it might. After this replay.
Would you say that we do have a game on our hands?
Well, if they get Elder and or Baron, yes.
All right, let's have a look.
BNK clearly think that this game is over, which is understandable given how a lot of these have played out. Is Berserker gets the ult there. I feel like we could have just backed off when Raptor was taken and played a little slower. Also, the fact that no one is there to cancel the backs is actually a really big mistake here for BNK. Like, imagine if you have just Karma canceling those backs. Like, they can end.
Yeah.
Because if Berserker doesn't make it back, there's no shot. Okay, so they didn't get either of the objectives. I take it back.
There are 3 that are still up.
There is still no game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I didn't see it on the hands.
I was kind of fake because they were pinging that they were actually gonna make it.
They were pinging that there was game on their hands.
If they got one, there would be game.
Well, they're gonna look for an Elder. It's gonna be an honest 5v5 though.
Nexus.
And
they have an open Nexus. Not the Soul! Not the Elder for Nexus!
I mean, Clear is already in. He's like, all right, well, that's going to be a Mega Cone as he flashes in, but it's still Pyoshik that's able to lock down the Dragon. Heroic Charge just to buy a bit of space. But you can see... The turret! Yep, the turret is going to respawn. The teleport going to be used to get on top of it, and both inhibitors are back up. They are completely trolled. It's like Death at Worlds, ladies and gentlemen, as are the stakes here in this Saturday showdown.
There's game!
It's blurry, but it's there. It is definitely there.
They get Elder. They get Nash.
And Otacon for all of that
They get
great
Elder,
value.
Nash, and Otacon.
Oh my God.
Maybe this is how it needs to be for the DN Freaks run to Worlds. You know, this is going to be the turning
This is
point.
the start. Oh my God. The fact that Clear, like it's respawning, there it is. And
Yep.
now he just can't even hit it anymore. Oh, this is so obscene. Okay, in picture, now in live, we have the Baron being taken down. The DN Freaks, that is going to spell a gold lead, baby! As soon as this turret is taken down. This should not be happening. That's all I got. Look at the fancy disco lights around the DN Freaks right now as they've got Elder and Baron. 1 more minute with both of the buffs. Gold is even, but I think that as far as mentality is concerned, BNK are on the ropes.
So the funniest part to me is that I still think BNK's comp is very good, and they might still win this game.
You know how teams here
But-
at the LCK often try to emulate T1? Do you think maybe they studied Game 3 of yesterday a little bit too hard?
Could be. I'm trying to think of the right phrasing. I'm trying to think of the right analogy of like what is.
I feel like that's been our whole job this game.
What is happening this game exactly? What is transpiring? What are we witnessing? And I think
What does it mean?
What does it mean? You know how sometimes in the morning you wake up.
Yeah.
And you're having
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Some mornings I don't.
Some mornings you get woken up by one thing or another. It can be a cat, it can be a pigeon living on your balcony. Many different things that can wake you up in the morning.
Life is not very good at walking with the rest of them. I think hasn't watched Star Wars, doesn't know that Sand people do tend to walk single file to hide their numbers.
And you spill your glass of
yes.
coffee, or your drink of choice, so tea, water, milk, I don't know what you have in the morning, and you spill it, and you're like, well, it's annoying, but I'm not gonna let this ruin my day.
Yeah. Then everything else tries to ruin your day.
And like you start getting more and more frustrated with it because you're like, I said this wasn't going to ruin my day, but guess what? It has. It has ruined your day. It's about to ruin your game.
Well, now you've got Clear, who's continuing to try and split push. That is going to be the game plan here, as BNK not going to be able to defend their bottom inhibitor turret. And Clear realizes that he's going to have some buddies heading on over. And now Elder has worn off. We got 40 seconds left on the Baron. 5.6k Red Bull Baron power play. That is 4,000 gold in the lead for the DN Freaks. But when this buff wears off, it is still Chemtech Soul. It is still feats of strength. It's still all that cool stuff that BNK has that does put them in an advantage as far as the money is concerned, or the stats are concerned.
Their comp is also still good.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like they don't have scaling parts.
But
you know
the
what?
mental damage.
What makes all this worse is if you just hadn't kicked over your glass.
Yeah. It comes back
to
the
that was
spilling
your fault.
Yeah.
And BNK, they spilled their drink. They had a lot of opportunities to play it out cleaner, and they didn't. Right? You're talking about maybe the third try of going objective for Nexus.
Yeah.
Might not have been necessary, but that's the game we're in. And now, DN Freaks. I'm not gonna lie, I need them to win this game now. If they lose this one, I think it's just
I don't know what my waters are necessarily saying about this series in general, but definitely about this game. I don't even really know who's in prime position.
I don't want to know. I just need DN Freaks. If they lose after all this, that's just it. That's too much. I can't handle that. You know, I'm a very sensitive guy. That's going to be too much for me.
Well, they're going to look for the Otacon, and that will likely just be theirs. It's not the most valuable. They will be able to get a whole bunch of petals from it. That's going to help them out. 4 items now completed for Dudu as well. I mean, Clear he's about to finish his last one, but still, this game, it will continue. 40 seconds, it's another Elder. We need second Elder, and that will decide this game. And so Pyoshik just needs to do it again. He just needs to find the smite angle.
Okay, he is playing into Poppy, so that it shouldn't be a 50-50. And BNK have set up in the pit. They're at the ready, but they need to beat DN Freaks in the straight-up fight. But this is what you want to do with this comp. You have the range advantage. Just sit there, slowly prod, deny any engage. Diablo, we need you to chill just a little bit. No E-ing in.
Oh dear, well, Voidseeker is going to find the Ezreal. Pongyan going in, not sure about that one. Flash out from Kellen, not wanting to tempt fate there. As he eats the honey fruit, my goodness, gets all of his health back. As now, minion waves being taken out on both sides of the rift.
Oh, Pongyan.
Oh yeah, Diablo taking a lot of damage, and you can see Pongyan really doing a lot of damage at this point in time. DN Freaks.
They've reversed positions?
They have.
Okay, do not try to end the game again, BNK. Okay, there's no wave, they're not going to.
Yep.
The poke from Berserker actually starting to...
Oh dear, there's a heroic charge, but no follow-up on the Dudu. True Shot Barrage also going wide here as Berserker makes his way over. Teleport in. That's going to bring Pongyan back into the fight once again, but Dudu is in a lot of trouble. And there is the Pop Blossom, but it's not going to find Diablo life. He went for the Hail Mary as there is the public execution, but it's onto Diablo in the back line, and there's no one following up. Empress Divide onto two. The stopwatches are being broken all over the place as Lifeline takes down Vickler, and somehow Pongyan finds the shove to possibly win them the game. The flash over from Pyoshik, the seismic shove once again onto Clear, but Berserker's in trouble, and Raptor finds him.
Look at the base!
That's another one, and Pongyan may have just won DN Freaks this game one.
적을 처치했습니다.
They've done it! They're winning a game! Look! There is game everywhere! All over these hands! And it's all coming up DN Freaks! I don't know whether I like it. I don't know whether this is the kind of game that we want here in the LCK, but it is damn entertaining, and the DN Freaks, they deserve it.
As it turns out, all Pongyan needed was not to play against Chovy. Who could have known? Who could have known, Atlas?
Yeah, they also needed about 17 different throws in the mid-game. Chronicler, that certainly helped out as well. Oh dear. This is one of those times where as a commentator, you really just want to focus on the winning team. That's the best way to go about it. You just think to yourself, wow, DN Freaks, so tenacious. You know, they stayed in it. They did their very best to make sure that any opportunity that there was to come back into the game, they were able to utilize it. And as we pan over BNK FearX, I would just prefer not to comment.
Stop comment.
Stop comment. Oh, what a time to be alive.
Hey, I think it's very warranted that DN Freaks was like, wait, what? We won? They're looking kind of shell-shocked.
Yeah.
That's a gold graph.
That's a beautiful gold graph. DN Freaks with 5,000 gold in the lead, but they were down 8K in that game. This was one of the most colossal throws that we have seen ever
Thus
in the
far,
LCK.
Today.
Yeah.
There might be more.
What will the next game bring, Chronicler? That is such a good question. We're likely going to have a side switch, but beyond that, we have absolutely no idea. Time for us to now take a short break. When we come back, the space is going to break that game down. Good luck, guys. We'll see you for game 2.
갈게.
형들
너 거기서 괜찮냐? 나 이거
걸렸다.
나 이거 뽀삐 너플 괜찮아. 뽀삐 너플. 뽀삐 너플.
야, 걸 거다, 이거 우리.
나걸 거야. 나 걸 거야. 나걸 거야.
나 아지는 봐도 된다.
나 괜찮아.
지금 봐도 돼, 이거. 이제 너플, 하나 너플. 갈 수 있냐, 갈 수 있냐?
이제 너플. 거의 너무 빨리긴 해.
아, 2초. 얘들아, 이거. 아지는 너플 있거든, 너플 있거든. 아지는 너플 붙을게.
나 이쪽을
아니,
괜찮아.
많이 잤어. 앞에 천천히 봐줘.
맞아.
제이트 맞
네이스 너플.
너나 된다, 너플이야.
네이스 봐줘야 돼. 네이스. 둘이 다 너플이야. 둘 다 너플.
오케이.
둘 다 너플. 맞아. 죽지 마. 둘 다 너플이야. 둘 다 너플. 얘들아 직관을.
It didn't stop them from getting a phenomenal draft advantage in game number 1. So I don't know even whether it's going to be an advantage
What do you
moving
mean?
into the second game.
They lost the game. Better
Yeah.
if you win the game, you have the better draft.
Yep, your Nexus is still exploitable, however, if you have a better draft.
No, I mean DNF has the better draft.
Are you talking about outcome-focused assessment?
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
So
my friend Daniel Orks Harrison taught me about that.
Because we were criticizing DNF, and clearly we were wrong because they won the game, so the draft was fine.
Yeah.
So I think you need to chill, Atlas.
I do need to hold my horses, as it were.
You know that your waters are getting notoriously dangerous. Whenever the Atlas waters are mentioned, people are like, oh God, we're about to be in a situation. I don't know what situation, but there will be a situation.
Yeah. Maybe a game on the hands situation. That's what we got into in the last one, and we'll see whether that is going to continue. As the Gwen has still not been banned, it's probably going to be banned here, though, isn't it? Yep. Gwen, and then first pick Callista in to lose the game could be the option for the BNK FearX team.
But Poppy and Talia are already gone.
True.
So that does, I do really think that makes it. No, what is also gone is Nico. So you're basically now forced as DN Freaks to go like what, Ash Renata?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to pick Ash, but I do think you have to pick Renata. And picking Renata blind, I don't think feels good. But trying to go up into Callista with no Talia, no Nico, and no Poppy is not something that I think you'd want to do.
I think you do have to pick the Ash. Because otherwise you can play the Callista Ash lane. Like that's still possible.
I guess they could, yeah. I don't think they would though. If Callan plays Ash, I think you're fine. I think that's okay. I think you can deal with that.
Well, Skarner is going to be the lock-in here for Pyoshik. And we'll see. There's not, like, that's the two premier tank junglers now taken away. The Poppy was played in the last game as well as, I mean, I think we kind of knew this was possible. Whether it's a good thing or not is still definitely up for debate.
It's going to happen, because this is, as you're saying, Atlas, it is a no-brainer. But is Callan playing Ash support?
Or it's Callan playing Callista support.
I'd rather have Callan on Ash support. I'm very confident in that. You know, I'd rather have Callan on, yes, than on Callista support.
I didn't have any feelings. They're gone. They were used up in the last game. Rise is going to be locked in.
Atlas,
don't know why.
You can have more. You could have more feelings.
Nope. Nope, they're gone.
Out.
My feelings left.
They're all gone.
They've left. They've gone.
All right. Clearly, you are in denial right now. We'll delve into that when we get to the actual game. That's okay.
My therapy session doesn't start until we're on the Rift with Dr. Chronicle.
Oh my God.
We are Dravenardering. Okay. Well, that's going to be a difficult lane to play out for BNK FearX.
I don't think you feel good about the Ash Callista, seeing as how it's panned out.
Unless,
and I think Rapid Star is also like, oh, that's not great. Unless
you just win.
Okay. But you could have an actual thought.
No, there's no actual thought. Actual thought need not apply to this series. Real analysis, things like predictions about things that should happen. No.
We're outside the realm of
not apply.
All right. I'll follow you on that one. As I also, I don't know why we're blinding Rise.
Realm Warp lets you move around the map.
I need to focus on this draft. There are so many. We keep getting sidetracked. What do you mean? I know what the ability does.
Yeah, that's why they picked it. They want to warp around the realm.
Well, clearly they do. You also saw the Ash support coming. So Nar gets locked in here, or gets banned here.
It all makes sense to me,
which
Chronicle.
I wonder if they want to... Are they going to blind top here? I really hope they don't, because you can just pick against the Rise, which you know where it's going. There's a flex potential with the Rise, could obviously go top, but I don't think it's likely.
Pyongyang has played a whole bunch of stuff in Challenger thus far. The Jax is going to be the ban away here up against Dudu. That is an Ari consideration. It doesn't make me feel all that excited seeing Ari Skarner locked in.
Ari Skarner, not so much. Ari, Draven, Renata, though.
Yeah, that feels pretty good.
That feels great.
Feels all right.
I like that a lot.
Okay, what is the rounding out of this composition for BNK Fearex? I want Viego and Camille. I think that is the optimal. This makes me feel less good because double magic damage in the 2v2 in mid jungle doesn't feel fantastic. But I guess you're against Ari Skarner, so
yesterday it was fine.
Yep.
Ended up working out, and we did also
more for the matchup rather than the comp.
Yeah, it's also Owner having one of the best Lilia games I've ever seen.
It was probably one of the best sleeps we have ever seen in the LCK.
Yeah, I think that one sleep mattered a lot, as it's going to be clear on his Renekton. And
this is what Doran did yesterday as well.
I know. No, Dusante, no. Not even Keen plays this champion
this is
anymore.
a don't Sante. This is
not
a do.
It's a don't
no,
Sante.
no.
I don't think that matchup is great. You're
Nope.
playing into a good amount of percentage of and the buffs. Think of the buffs.
They need more early game damage. That's what they need. Just play all for the first cash in on the Draven. This feels not great.
You know what this comp is legitimately Berserker.
Yeah.
Please. Berserker, please.
Yeah.
Please, Berserker. Please carry us. Please. Pretty please. We have
Is that what's written down in Rapid Star's notebook right now?
We have two frontliners. Okay. We have someone whose entire job is trying to get you your money. Okay?
Yep.
And then we have Renata to make sure that even if they engage on you, they can't kill you. You're gonna be okay, please. Berserker. We need you to carry us again.
Berserker, please, please, please. Berserker, please, please, please.
That's the comp.
Wow. It's a long-winded title, but it is one that really does get the point across.
It's like the light novel titles, you know, the manhwas that are just 15 lines. Like,
the light novel is in fact the title.
I went from the LTA back to the LCK, and now I'm stuck in 10th place, and I need to get out of there.
So I'm going to play Draven, and I am going to get a cash out at 10 minutes, and then I am going to win us the game with a full item in advantage.
6 seasons, 500 episodes, banger.
Yeah. No filler in that one either. It is
no filler.
No filler. It's all just poignant conversations and incredible action. We're going to see that. We're going to get a bit of a taster. I still think BNK have a great draft. I think that if the Draven doesn't pop off, then it's doomed for the DN Freaks. But what I think does not matter in the slightest for this series. Let's get into it.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go on a journey together, shall we? It is time to delve into, once again, the twist-laden narrative of BNK Fearex taking on the DN Freaks. Take it away, Chronicler.
Oh no. The line "take it away, Chronicler" has never been uttered after anything good happening.
No, it's often when I just don't really want to talk about it anymore.
So, drafts. We have a very strong top 2v2 for BNK. I think Vikla, even though Merc value obviously going to be good, on the side of DN Freaks, it's not the end of the world.
By the way, you got someone in Twitch chat saying that you've absolutely nailed it with the light novel titles.
It's almost as if I am a big weep. Really, what I'm looking for is an opportunity to talk about the current Weep game that I'm playing. That's exceptional.
Oh, which one's this one?
Okay,
because I was watching you play it.
It is, and it's gone because I pre-ordered it because I love both artists, like the writers that have done it. But it's from the Danganronpa people.
Pyongyang? That one. Pyongyang? Yeah, he might just be. Watch out! Eep! Okay, yeah, that's First Blood. As you were saying.
As I was saying, so it's a strategy RPG visual novel mashup by the guys from Danganronpa and 999, which is, if you like escape room games, like dark, twisted narratives.
Ooh, that's kind of
cool. It is very cool, very weepy.
Okay, Berserker is there's a lot of sticks. A lot of sticks in there. As I read on my piece of paper here, Draven good into Callista.
Well, not level 1.
Ah, that's
you need
what
some levels.
But it's level 2. Oh, whoa, that's a flag. Okay, yeah. Life also agrees. What happened?
He flashed over the wall! He did. They knew where the ward was. Diablo's in a flash. He just flashed over the wall. He's crazy.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay, well, Kellen is going to be collected. And he knows he's dead. There goes the Ash, and that is the first kill for the DN Freaks. Raptor is up here towards the top side, but I think we'll be able to try and go for a 3-buff.
Oh, baby.
Man, it is like we were struggling to see the game, but now it's like I put my specs on, you know, and it was here the whole time.
This is such disgustingly good pathing from Raptor, by the way. I want to highlight it, but first here, so they have the lane very far pushed up. Pioshik knows exactly. I think, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't have died. Like, he just flashes right outside of the range to completely circumvent it, gets the timing on the gank. So Raptor started enemy Raptors, and then has, I think, also was able to, after he, so then get the kill mid, which a level 2 Lilia gank is someone that absolutely no one will see coming. And I think he also, maybe naive with the camp timers, I don't think he also got to the Raptor, or to the red buff. Will now spot Pioshik, who is still level 3.
Yeah, gets the spin around here as well. Gives him a bowling ball.
But he
to clear out this, never mind.
So set up an early lead for himself, very far ahead in farm, picked up an early kill. And he also gets a second spawn, which is the biggest deal. The downside is obviously that the Draven got a kill, and even though he didn't have a lot of stacks, he now did get a serrated Dirk on his first phase.
Yeah. Pungan now in perhaps a bit of trouble. As you can see, Vikla trading quite nicely on this Rise. And maybe that is a reason why BNK locked down the Rise so early on in the draft, just to give Vikla as much comfort as possible. As Kellen and Diablo, yeah, well and truly on the back foot now, as the lane was in a completely doomed state after Kellen died on that bot side as well. So that led to this being a much larger advantage, as Raptor is really just hoovering up his jungle.
This will be a really interesting game, because it's going to come down to the question, who carries harder? Fat Berserker on Draven, or Fat Raptor on Lilia?
Well,
and I don't know. If it was just a 1v1, I think Berserker's been having such a great performance thus far. I believe it. But even with DN Freaks having an entire Berserker please win for us comp, I hope that they actually play towards that, because I'm not super confident.
Well, I'm looking at the red and blue numbers at the bottom of the screen, and I'm seeing a Berserker comp. I think it's pretty obvious, as now Pungyun's flashing, but so is Vikla, and Pungyun's just dead again.
This was a counter pick.
It was.
And Rise was only sitting on tier.
I just want to remind everyone that the only reason the DN Freaks were able to win Game 1 was because Pungyun was so incredibly good. So stop being mean if you are. If you're not being mean, totally fine. Totally fine. He's also he's young, he's new player here, struggling a little bit here in this this matchup.
Yeah, the first gank, I don't think you can really hold against him, because it did come kind of out of nowhere, and this is just a really big mistake, right? This isn't really excusable. The first one, the level 2 Lilia gank, if you get cheesed by that, it happens. That's fine. That can happen. Walking in to cancel a back, face check into Rise and die, while using your flash, not that one.
And all information was presented as well. It wasn't like he got outplayed. It was just that was what was going to happen. I thought he was going to miss that. That was just absolutely terrifying.
The sidestep as well, as Raptor gets his Raptor.
Yes. Well, Charm is going to miss, and Vikla is going to continue his reign of terror of this mid lane. Raptor is so incredibly strong. Ladies and gentlemen, he is just going to head over and take whatever he would like. I imagine that the idea is to maybe go for a bit of a trade. Pioshik wanting to collect himself a Raptor camp here.
Not Raptor, but
Raptor, yeah. Raptor.
Raptor.
As Pioshik is able to run himself away. But this is like mid-priority, something we've spoken about many, many times. And BNK, they have it a lot. As, oh, thank goodness, there is a Raptor actually in our teleprompter now as well. We have the Avian Raptors, which are the ones that we can see in the camps here in-game. But then there's also, obviously, the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park, which I only recently found out were actual dinosaurs. I thought they were just made for the TV show, for the movie, but they're not. They're actually real. As, all right, Pyeongyeon, he's going in, does find himself a really nice charm, and Kellen will be taken down. He's just putting the stacks into Berserker, and then walks back to lane, and things are all still awful. But look at that, he knows where his bread's buttered.
He's just Kellen, and unfortunately, he's just dead. Caught off guard there, understandably. Pyeongyeon, the laning phase in this one has not been great, but as mentioned, he knows his job. And his job, get Berserker fed. And guess what? He gets it done. Life also flashing in. They are doing literally everything they can just to ensure Berserker stays. And now even if, like, Berserker's fine, but even if he would have died, doesn't matter. He cashed in. He's a 1.3k gold lead.
Yeah, this is absolutely massive. He's got 350, so that's basically just an extra kill, which is pretty impressive for 8.5 minutes in the game. That charm going to connect. As Pyeongyeon going for the higher damage build, we still saw a fair few of these Rod of Ages Leandri's builds from the Ahri, but the burst damage certainly on this patch feels a bit better.
He also needs to, because he is one of the 2 damage sources. And I can guarantee you, BNK, they also know what the comp from DN Freaks is. Soul Berserker.
Yeah,
that's it.
So far, Berserker sitting on 0 deaths. So there we go. Dudu going to have his back interrupted. Clear, we kind of knew that was going to happen. Having, also getting these, sorry to cut you off there a little bit, but getting the buffs on the Dominus here for the Renekton, pretty good for a player like Clear, because in Challenger, like, Renekton, one of his favorite champions, he dominated top lanes over and over again with his champion. Good to see it back in the meta.
Yeah.
It gives Clear a lot more late game threat as well with how much damage that ulti now does. Owie. A little bit.
I actually really like the position that DN Freaks is in. Because on the opposite end, we have 5 short-range characters that are playing into Cassante, Skarner, and Renata. And the DN Freaks comp lacks damage if Draven is not in a good position.
I think he's in a pretty good position.
He's in a pretty good position, Atlas. Yeah, funny how that works.
Yeah.
So now BNK, after yesterday, I will never doubt a Lilia to her ability to somehow get on top of a target and win fights, but I think BNK got to be feeling, or DNF rather, got to be feeling pretty good about the early position they found themselves in.
I don't think that BNK are necessarily too worried, but I agree with you that they probably should be. And the problem is the fact that everything went wrong in the last game, right, that has still got to be wearing on you.
Of course.
As Berserker going for a bit of a Draven flank angle here into the mid lane, as Pioshik is driving out of there. So never you mind. Ramble back, going to be consumed here by the Lilia, and the Raptors lose interest in Raptor. It's confusing, always is.
So back to that that comment about Jurassic Park. What do you mean they're real?
Yeah, so I thought the Velociraptors weren't actually real dinosaurs. From, you know, like, back in the day.
The animatronics.
Yeah, no, not that they were actually real in the movie. I mean that they were represented a dinosaur that did exist in prehistoric times.
Oh, that makes so
I thought
much
they
more sense.
invented the dinosaur, as in, like, the dinosaur was never actually a thing.
I thought you were just setting up for a bit, you know? It's like, oh,
no, they weren't like real dinosaurs.
Okay.
Although the ones in Jurassic World, they were real, because Chris Pratt, like, they were actually his dinosaurs that he had, which was really, really cool. And that's why he got to use those hand movements so
very
effectively.
Convenient.
Yeah. As all right, Kellen is doing his very best here to just volley him down. And it's going to be 6 scrubs over to BNK. That's a good news story for them.
Yeah, I'm not actually going to comment on who I think likely wins this game because I'm following your guidelines of earlier, which is that we don't know. And trying to discern what's going to happen in a game like this
What would
is,
you have
is a
done, by
waste
the
of our
way?
time.
If I had have told you that I did think that there were real dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, like what would you have done? It's live on broadcast. You'd have to break it to me.
So, well, that depends. Because if it was a bit, at some point you would start... I would take you serious initially, and then you would start smirking, and then I'd be like, you fell for it again.
What if it
Silly
wasn't a
goose.
bit, though? What if I just believed that they were
If you actually
real?
believed in dinosaurs...
I mean, obviously I believe in dinosaurs, but
No,
I just don't believe that
dinosaurs
they're still around.
currently-
Outside of a crocodile.
Yeah, which apex predator.
An
Ah,
actual
respective.
dinosaur.
Actual dinosaur. Yeah, no, I think the closest thing we have now is birds.
Yep.
And some birds,
And
I
turtles.
get it. Yeah, some birds I get it. Yeah, but like to the like the kind of the velociraptor type.
Yeah, yeah,
I think birds are.
What about a cassowary? That's one of my favorite dinosaur birds.
Well, they actually. That's the thing. They're scary.
I saw one actually in the wild, and I freaked out, man.
Aren't
They
they
are
like notoriously
Yeah, they're
dangerous
incredibly ruthless
and
as
really
well.
aggressive for no reason? They're so mean.
And they've got a giant bone horn thing on their head for some reason.
Dinosaur.
Yeah, they are actually a dinosaur.
Okay, so if you would have said that dinosaurs were real, I actually don't know. It's like
would have been a weird situation.
Yeah, it would have been a weird situation. I probably would have just been like, yeah, you know, wouldn't that be cool? And try to try to move on.
Oh, Live can have to flash. As Diablo, and I don't know whether you win this one, Diablo, as he's going to stick some sticks in there and see what happens. Whirling Death, not quite enough to net yet another kill. Diablo could have just thrown the entire game off the back of that. I think 3 cash-ins in a row, probably not a winnable game state.
I'm telling you, if Berserker hadn't had 2 cash-ins already, he would have flashed. Because you could flash for the redirect on your
Oh, yeah,
there.
true.
Could have killed him. I think he
By the way,
shouldn't.
we had another question, and that was, is Clear's Renekton a dinosaur or a crocodile? And I would say both.
Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I would, yeah. But that was a question that we had in Twitch chat, and when a series has gone this far off the rails, and so far this game, I mean, there has been a lot of action, there's been a lot to keep track of, but we have been somewhat distracted because our brains were kind of addled since the last...
Yeah, normally Atlas and I are notoriously very game-minded individuals.
Oh, yeah.
I've actually...
Eyes on the prize,
oh,
baby.
Pio shit.
All right, not quite able to get the crash here as the flash out of the Impale is good from Raptor. Still they're going to need a bit more, and Berserker is a raid boss. He is so scary. Kellen takes a quarter of his health bar just off of one as there's the flash jump. Punya's found it again, but Raptor this time able to throw out at least a Q to try and get something back. Good bailout, and Berserker is able to get the kill as well. Clear wanting to get on top of him, but the charm to misdirect. This Pungyong guy outside of lane is so incredibly good. And Vikla also going to be lying on the floor. The Dusante able to grab that kill. Oh dear. BNK Purex, I think it might be over.
I think it might be boom. It starts off with Pioshik doing some very ill-advised drifting. Everyone, please do not take drifting lessons from this man. I wouldn't trust him. It was not great scarnering, but then, Atlas, as you're saying, there's one man that truly understands his assignment, as doesn't hit the wall, whiffs the ultimate, or rather gets the ultimate flashed, and then knowing that Raptor doesn't have his flash. Watch this. No banana burst control. Pyongyang dashes in, flash charm. And even though Berserker gets low, has the bailout. Great ultimate there as well from Life to keep the backline fighting one another, and then Clear, even with the extra amount of damage on his ult, it doesn't matter as...
It was the charm.
He went 0-2 in lane. I actually, this is something that I think is actually a really big deal. Is a player that comes in from challengers in a team that is completely in shambles, goes down 0-2 in lane, and has now gotten his Draven 2 kills. Like, both those kills were just him.
Yeah, that is called an incredible mental. That's what it is. This guy, like, that is a huge test as well. Some of these young players, you know, the ego can be certainly a bit of a thing. You know, if that gets bruised, things can become a problem. We're seeing a bit of that on the other side of the rift, but not for Pyongyang. This guy looking fantastic in the fights. In the lane, no, it was looking terrible.
It was again.
Yeah, it was just a face check, trying to pull away.
The face check was a really big mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, you know,
By the way, this game is nowhere near over. or
Oh,
anything
not
like
even
that.
a little bit. But I do think DN Freaks are feeling great because Berserker is up 2.5K gold.
Yeah.
Or close to.
Still hasn't died. Diablo dashing over walls, things like this, as he likes to do.
They got
To be
Herald.
able to find any angles, you're exactly right. Herald is consumed. And Dudu managed to get a kill in that last fight as well. So he's got his Thornmail complete. It's going to be harder and harder for Clear to get through him. Does have first item Black Cleaver, obviously fantastic, into rushing a whole bunch of armor items that Dudu does do in this case.
Dude, does do that. Yeah, no, I heard that.
Do.
Yeah. And I don't know, again, this is one of those topics I feel like we shouldn't actually comment on because we don't have enough knowledge, but that a lot of dinosaurs actually did have feathers.
Well, that's the argument, isn't it?
Right? Yeah.
Because we don't
really
know. Yeah, because they
But
don't
it would make
fossilize
sense.
as well.
Yeah, because they're feathers.
Yeah.
That's work.
Very, very tough. They need to be like preserved perfectly in amber or something like that in order for you to get any real idea of it.
Coincidentally is also what we need for Jurassic Park.
Exactly. I mean, that's what they found out in the documentary called Jurassic Park, is that, you know, if you just make them again, they come back but they don't have feathers.
No, Atlas. It's Jurassic World that was the documentary. We've been
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Jurassic Park, yeah, wasn't the real one.
That was robots.
It's so confusing when one of them's the Jurassic documentary and the other one isn't. People might actually start thinking that I'm being serious about this. But maybe I'm just okay with it. That's right. Bowling ball flying on through. It's constant misdirection. All right. Or direction. You never really know. Pongyan, they're going to try and make things dark here as he approaches. And I think I can understand why BNK is standing. Never mind, they're not back. They're actually going to throw out a arrow. Berserker was tanking up that turret and does get Fate's Call. Goes into the Herald. He looked like he got Fate's Call. He did. Watch out, Berserker might be just going down. 600 gold over to Raptor. Oh my goodness, and now it's Clear's turn to run amok in this fight. That's the power of dinosaurs. Ladies and gentlemen, he is not done yet. And look at this dominance. The Root Prison comes down. And you don't want to be stuck in a prison with a croc that's that big. There goes the turret in response. B&K a little bit closer to winning a game in this series. What? What? It's insane. Let's have a look at it again.
Okay.
This is right when I was saying B&K don't look like they want to fight. And then they immediately wanted to fight.
So Berserker takes way too much damage, then takes the Herald. And then Berserker drives into the wall!
Yeah.
And he's the one guy that can't die. Also...
Oh, no, he can.
Well, he did die, but he shouldn't die.
Ah, that's what you
because
meant.
their whole comp revolves around him. I don't want to go in too hard on Berserker because I feel like it makes sense that his back is a little achy after everything that's happened.
Yeah.
But you do need to be very carefully positioned. I don't think he had to be that far up.
Speaking of being far up, Clear.
That's fine. He's a big crocodile. He's a very scary dinosaur. There's 4 people coming. He might be dead. I take it back.
He might be indeed dead. He is still going to flash as the arrow's very cute. That was cute, wasn't it? The arrow? It sort of flew by.
Yeah. Endearing.
Yeah, it was nice. Atakan is available. He is a bit voracious. And Kellen is going to realize that he is an Ashe and be a little bit scared. Does have Fate's Call in a few seconds' time. Pongyan going to come down towards the bottom side. We'll clear out this turret. Very nicely done. DN Freaks, they do have the feats of strength.
Oh god, if they get mountain, if BNK start stacking mountains,
Dragons aren't real. They don't matter.
No, I know they did in the last game, but I want to remind you, what is the one weakness of the DN Freaks comp? They have 2 damage dealers, neither of which have great shred. And you're playing into possible mountain angle.
Yeah, the Mountain Soul would make things more difficult for them.
It would be bad. It would be bad.
However, if they do get it, think about that. Like Asante and Skana with Mountain Soul, my god, you're never killing them.
Yeah, that's kind of extra shield for Berserker as well.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't really catch what happened with Life in that last fight. Like, what happened to the bailout?
I didn't really catch what happened to almost anything in that last fight.
That fight was a mess. But I
think I said that, like, Berserker Fate's Call.
I know, that was so...
Because that's what it looked like.
It's the same animation.
Yeah, and there is at least a Callista in the game. Unfortunately, they're on the other team.
Because I get it, because it's Renata Ashe.
Yeah,
versus
right?
Kalista Sport with Draven.
Yeah.
Makes
but
perfect sense.
I was all sorts of confused. As I think I'm allowed to be a bit confused in a game like this, as the Whirling Death is going to spot that the Voracious Otacon has been started. Pyoshik might get a little tired here, as the bowling ball dot doing a fair bit of work here. Clear is taken down to 50% though, and Dudu is not a target that they want to try and go for, as he does at least eat a bit of this CC, 50% of his health bar. That's what you get. BNK don't overextend, but they do press a lot of buttons.
What does it mean?
I'm not sure. But my ability to identify what anything means has become more and more difficult throughout this series.
I thought you were going to say in life. I'm like, are you okay, Atlas?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, kind of. But this has been an existential crisis in a Saturday showdown.
This series?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were like, wow, this is not necessarily on paper the most dramatic Saturday showdown. Little did we know this was going to be one of the most heart-wrenching series that we've seen. It's completely ridiculous. LCK just always delivers. Somehow the LCK script writers, they always know where the bangers are going to come from. And this one is brewing, right? This game, I mean, already the series already is, but
It's not brewing, it's just brewing.
Oh yeah, it's just a brew. And look at the face check on Pyoshik there. He's going to have to flash away. Not going to get sleepy. He's just going to drive his way out. But driving tired is not a very good idea, as he's now going to look for a bit of a back angle as, my goodness, Raptor is so strong. 2 items now done for the Lilia. Pongyan moves on over, prepares a minion for his Draven, which we do like to see. All right, they do just back away. So it's close to a 4,000 gold lead for BNK FureX. 2 items are now done for Diablo. You've got 2.5 here for Vikler as well. He's trying to work out what he wants to build. And Clear waiting in this top lane. 5 spots in, but this outer turret is still up, as Berserker is just going to hit the Otacon. He can do that. He's pretty tanky with his Bloodthirster, but these resistances are going to get shredded. And Berserker obviously knows that he is the main character. There's no one else that can really get too much done here, as Clear immediately just going to stop Dudu in his tracks. The Otacon is still the focus. Handshake going to miss. The Realm Warp to get Vikler in so deep. Looks for Berserker off to the back end of the fight as Dudu just goes all out. Clear though, he goes all in, and he manages to stun up Berserker. The bailout is going to be there as he flashes away, but it's just not going to be enough. A double for Raptor, 1 for the Croc, and Pongyan's going to try and flash away, but the Dominus, it's looking for him. Another one is going to be required as far as the slices and dices, but looks like Otacon is just going to go over to BNK. And that game that we had written all over our hands, it's starting to read a little bit yellow and black, my friend.
The Sandstorm
It
here.
approaches. Which Sandstorm is it? From which famous movie? Like the one that Paul Atreides goes into with his mom?
You know I'm going for Doom.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
But what about the one in like Mad Max Fury Road? Because that's a dope Sandstorm as well.
That's okay. That's a lot. I need to think on that. At the beginning of this series, or this game rather, we posed a question: what would you rather have, Fed Raptor on Lilia, or Fed Berserker on Draven? We now have our answer.
Well, we have the other argument. That's what we definitely have.
Which is
Raptor.
It's Raptor. Yeah.
He's also 50 CS ahead. It's feeling a bit better, isn't it?
Back to the Sandstorms. I would actually say Mad Max. I like Dune more as a franchise, as a setting, as a, you know, what
Fury Road was just such a good
Fury Road
film.
is probably my favorite action movie of all time.
It's very, very
I watched it like, because I was in Korea. I was on my exchange the first time.
Yeah,
I saw it like 3 times in cinemas. I just keep going back because like, it's Fury Road.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So incredibly good. All right, well, DM Freaks now on the defensive, exactly where they wanted to be, ladies and gentlemen. As Berserker and Dudu going for a bit of a flank angle on to Clear. Remember, he does have the ability to be withdrawn and he manages to get the turret. Wanting to set up for a decent slice angle, gets a good old shield, and it looks like he might be dead. There he goes. So not dead, just all of his health is gone, and he spends some time back home for a few moments. They'll trade that, though, for an inner turret on the bottom side of the map as well. And remember, Clear got his job done. What he wanted to do was take down the turret, and did indeed manage to do that. There's now Raptor. Oh, God, is this... Okay, we've got 4.5 minutes until the next dragon. So they did manage to get Soul Point off the back end of that fight and that play. And the amount of things that are saying DN Freaks are not going to win this game are starting to pile up. And when do they hit that critical point where DN Freaks just win the game because they are so far behind?
Might have hit that already.
Whoa. That's big.
How
are they going to find their angle?
We're on that track. It's too obvious now that BNK is going to win.
Yeah.
Guess what? Fate has other... No, actually, Fate is...
Unlosable.
Are you trying to vel this in?
Unlosable, baby.
I'm with you. I think this one is in the bag for BNK.
All right, Pengyeon, he's going to find himself a charm as the handshake brings him even closer. Fate's call from Diablo just gets Kellen out of there, and there goes the Renata. Unlosable, baby. That might actually be the case, as I was trying to cast a Curse It, because Curse It seemed very strong yesterday. Just doesn't seem quite as powerful here today. First inhibitor going to go down. DN Freaks, without their mid laner, without their support, trying to put up a defense. There is at least a frontline. Berserker is still alive, but Dudu, he's getting down lower and lower. Pyoshi gets a crash into the wall. That is a really nice impale, but Vikla uses it just to gap close onto the Draven. And this time, Diablo is not diving any fountains. This time, BNK FearX mean business, and the Sandstorm will eliminate the Nexus here in this series. BNK FearX not down and out after throwing away game one, and this could be our first 3-0 of the regular season.
As the Crocodile does his job. Carry masterclass there, particularly from Clear and Raptor. They're the ones I'm going to be looking at here. This was one of the rare games where it felt like Diablo was more of an afterthought. I don't think he had the matchup to really go crazy. Obviously was caught off guard early on.
But it just allowed Kellen to be bait the entire game. And so he walked way too far forward, and then the Fate's call was always there. And so they press too many buttons, overextend, and then it's Crocodile and Bambi, and they get in, they destroy.
It's a very, very charitable interpretation of what happened in this game, Atlas. I do appreciate that.
I learned a lot about sandstorms and dinosaurs, though. I had a really good time.
Yeah, really great time. Vikla somehow did the most damage in the game, which is pretty impressive.
Somewhat surprising. I was thinking that this might be
It'd be Raptor, right?
Yeah,
given the damage profile. But actually a good game from Vikla. Had a couple of solo bowlers as well. We'll see. We still have no idea who's going to win this series.
Nope.
Do we? Because it kind of did feel like BNK 2-0. But it didn't.
Nope. They looked like the better team in game 2, and DN Freaks punished them in game 1. What's going to happen in game 3? We don't know. Space going to break down game 2 right after the break, and then we will find out.
이거 그건 풀은 한테 좀 앞으로
두번 풀
오면.
없어, 두번 풀 없어.
카노 궁은? 카노 궁 있어. 나 두번 프리트 볼게 이거.
넓게 잡아, 넓게 잡아.
넓게 잡아, 넓게
아,
잡아.
내가 풀떡 먼저 할게. 내가
나도
풀떡
있어.
먼저.
나다 그냥
앞라인 쳐, 앞라인 쳐.
앞라인
상태부터.
앞라인 치고 해봐. 그냥 있어, 나 그냥 있어. 나 두분 봐, 두분 봐. 타워 쳐.
뜨거운 먹게.
나 카노 안 잡아도 돼, 타워 쳐.
사우스.
해봐.
지지. 데자뷰 날 뻔.
1명 끝나. 얘네 아래 5초. 아래 6초. 내 말만 듣다 이거. 그래줄게.
그래, 제일 정상인인 것 같긴 하다, 어진이가 지금.
I don't.
Oh, never mind. Okay. Well, it's cooked. Maybe the Tridans know. The Tridans probably know. Let's dive into the draft here. As Yundo's also losing his mind.
No, it's not. It's both Yundo and G-Sun.
Yeah.
Maybe I do know when I hear it. I don't know.
You haven't watched Wild Wild West, one of the greatest Will Smith films of all time? That was like back in the MIB days.
I don't.
Where he'd like make a sick rap song after every movie he did. Oh god, it was so good.
I watched other great kids movies. Okay, I was in the Netherlands. This is well established.
Aha. Well, you could definitely go and watch those movies. I think they hold up. As okay. Having a look, we've had no real changes. Varus and Sejuani banned in a different order this time, but still going to be banned. And the Vi and the Gwen. Once again, change up of the order. Gwen was the final ban, this time going to remain on the list. So Nefiri is up, Rumble is up, quite a few things still left up and available.
Should be those two getting banned as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything that's as high prio that is still in the game as, oh yeah, of course. How could I forget? The Viego.
Mm-hmm. And we're going straight to the Rumble ban. There we go. Nefiri is therefore left up and available. Did that get? Did you get?
What?
Did that just tweak your memory a little bit? No. Okay.
No. But I think
It's
this is great. I think Pioshik playing Nefiri is a win for BNK. I am unfortunately not been the biggest fan of Pioshik's play thus far today. That Skarna game did not do a lot to convince me, and Nefiri is a champion that, as we have seen, when performed by some of our best junglers, I'm looking at Owner, I'm looking at Lucid. That pick looks super broken. I get it from a pick-away perspective, because Raptor is like one of the other guys that it's looked good on, but I'm not really on board with this one, Atlas.
Yeah, I'm not super psyched about it. Let's see how they round it out. I think that maybe it's swings and roundabouts here, as the Misfortune is locked in. One of the champions that hasn't necessarily done so well as Pungyan.
That's Bulldog's music.
It's feeling like it, as instead it's the Orianna that's going to be locked away. And as far as Wombo Combo is concerned, the shock time, we'll work on that. Bullet Wave probably.
Bullet Wave is a...
Yeah, that actually sounds good.
That sounds great.
Shock time.
Shock time is bad, Atlas.
Not good.
It's gonna be real with you. That's not the one.
It's not the winner. But sometimes you've got to take a shot.
You gotta break eggs to make an omelet.
That was the analogy I was looking for.
I got you.
That's why we pay you the big bucks. It's all right. Rumble going to be Aatrox's going to be banned away next to the Rumble.
We have the Jax coming through here for Claire. What Aatrox Gragas, I would say. You might ban Gnar. Maybe against Dudu you ban Gnar instead.
Maybe. I still think the Gragas ban actually sounds pretty good. They've got a lot of physical damage already with Nefiri and Misfortune.
Also, you have Victor and Pantheon. I actually think the Gragas would go so hard here. I really hope they ban that. I think they're going to ban Gnar, but I hope they ban Gragas. I think the Gragas angle here is kind of out of this world.
Instead. Wanting to ban away just the very traditional front-to-back style of composition, and so many teams really like having a true tank in the top lane if they have Nefiri. They've really sort of indexed very heavily into getting tankiness on the top side to, spare the doggo from having a very squishy team.
It's never happening where, go really hard here.
What?
Top Maokai.
Ooh. Oh man, bit of a 2014 throwback.
Yeah, well, no, we had it in 2022.
That's true, actually. There was
at that Worlds in New York.
Yep.
I remember seeing a good amount of it. Especially not into Rakan. Imagine, or with Rakan rather. Imagine like being Dudu throwing down a note, and then the bullet wave comes through.
Oh, and the quickness all over the top.
Quick bullet wave. What's the Fury ult name? I don't.
No idea.
Okay,
I can immediately find out.
We gotta work that in.
Yeah.
Right? We gotta get that.
The call of the pack. It is the Gragas.
He's doing it. That's amazing. Love that.
I mean, it is counter synergy with the bullet wave.
Yeah, you can finagle it. It's fine. We can make it work.
The explosive bullet wave
So we are looking at
of the pack.
call of the pack. Explosive bullet wave of the pack. That sounds like.
Yeah.
That sounds.
The call of the explosive bullet wave. Ness. If the Rakan is indeed. There it is. Locked in. Okay. The quickness of the bullet wave.
Quick call
Barrel.
of the bullet wave.
Quick call of the bullet wave. I
Quick
love
call
it.
of the explosive bullet wave.
Yeah, quick call of the explosive bullet wave. But
Boom!
the problem is if Gragas uses his ultimate, he could ruin everything. Diablo, going back to one of his favorites. Back in Challenger, he was playing this all the time. When Gumayushi did this yesterday, I was upset because it was Braum and the Lucian that time around. Doesn't feel great. This also to me doesn't feel great.
I'm willing to.
He does more stuff with tanks now than he used to, but it's still.
Yeah, I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt because I do think you want an AD carry that has self-peel. Kalista, Ezreal, one of the more notorious AD carries that do have great dashes, already gone. This gives him agency. I think you're still going to be stuck playing Lucian into a composition that is going to violently try to murder you in your short range.
Oh.
Acknowledge that that is a big and difficult task, but I do think Diablo is kind of essential for this team to function, is what I would have said if not for last game, where it was all clear on Raptor. I also think that game number 1 was I wouldn't say a fluke, but it was definitely a unique game, the circumstances of which I think will not be repeated.
By the way, the combination of Gragas' ult and Rakan's ultimate actually spell out a function you can utilize within League of Legends, which is pretty cool. Quick cast.
Oh my god.
Let's get onto the rift for game number 3.
시간사의 학교가 오신 것을 환영합니다. 미니언 생성까지
Why would you do that to me? We still have another series.
I know, makes it so much better.
That was so bad. And you don't even give me the opportunity to then talk about it because the fan
I
chants
know!
come in. I can't talk through the fan chants.
I know, that's the best part. You have to stew on it the entirety of the time.
And I heard your little giggle during the fan chants as well. That was the
Sorry
worst.
about that, everyone. I was trying. I just couldn't hold it in. Couldn't hold it in.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
The quick cast shock time of the pack, baby. That's what we're looking for on the DNF side of things. B&K Furex. I don't mind it, the draft, but I just don't feel like the Lucian. It doesn't spark joy for me.
No, I'm not convinced, but I'm willing to see the line, if that makes sense. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's great. I don't really feel that way here, but I understand why we'd pick it, because you want something that is able to fight back in lane, because it's Diablo.
Yeah.
Diablo's never going to be like, oh, it's MF, pick me Jinx, and now no, that's not what he does, right? So I don't think that there's that much left. I think the Lucian does make sense, but I do think it's a really hard game to play out. I want to highlight, due to Tank Gragas just doesn't have the same level of power. I hope that this is like he goes Grasp.
Yeah,
and then
Grasp,
goes
Rod of Ages.
that'd be like kind of the hybrid. That'd be okay. I just hope he doesn't actually go tank. I think that build is not good. And also interject specifically, the reason why it's such a winning matchup is because with AP you just out-trade him permanently. But maybe he goes Grasp and then goes for a defensive build, which is completely fine.
He has gone Gragas Esquire, which is just so good.
I just love phase rush on Gragas because it's so uninteractive. It's so annoying.
True. Often we do see the Comet. I feel less good about that. I feel like going full damage feels less good as Pioshik. Looking for an early gank here as Vikla may actually have to flash, and he does. As the Doggos as well with this bleed. It's bit scary, but he's drank a potion, so I need to calm down. Pangyan. Not going to be able to stop that back. Early teleport, though, and no flash now available for Vikler. No flash is invested on the side of DN Freaks as well. A much better start for the mid lane of the DN Freaks.
Just a great level 6 window. I don't know how much it's going to matter beforehand, as Vikler obviously can farm safely from range. I'm also... Oh my god.
How is Misfortune doing this well?
Well, she did have a really... She had... Basically, she was, what, 7 and 11? And then she went on a 7-game winning streak.
Huh.
Yeah. 3 of those wins, by the way, are aiming, who I think is the only truly good MF that we have. I think there were a couple of other games in there that were like a little... Didn't Ruder have a game where he went MF, and then he just kind of got carried to a...
Yeah, it sort of existed, and then they won the game, yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a few of those. As Hebapol onto Berserker here on the bottom side of the map, as the Ignite pretty late on in this one. But there's no cleanse to worry about. So
Yeah, that's why Diablo won at Lucian.
yeah, that trade worked out relatively well.
It did. It's well set up by Kellen.
Yep.
He's just Kellen, but sometimes that's all you need. Kellen. Well, Kellen's Alistair, is that the greatest redemption story in League of Legends? I'm not even joking.
Do you know the worst part is? During the year, his Alistair was fantastic.
I know.
And he just had that horrific game.
We both, and then he had the game at Worlds.
Yep.
Because we watched him be good at the champion.
Uh-huh.
For a year.
Yep. And then he sort of, like, it just didn't work for a really long time.
It was like a year and a half, up until this season.
But now, everything's great. Honestly, Kellen, just one of the best success stories that we have seen develop so far in the LCK for 2025. As Clear was thinking about going for a bit of a face check, but Dudu would have been fine with that one. You can see Dudu ahead a little bit as far as farm, but you could imagine that Clear is just happy to farm things out, get himself into that split push Jax position. And we've got a Ruby Crystal done so far, so I'm hoping that turns into a Catalyst. That's the vibe.
Catalyst, Fimbulwinter maybe.
Ooh.
I hope it's Seraphs again, but we'll have to see as we
I think because you can go Seraph's Rod of Ages and you still feel pretty tanky with that build. Like it's still
build's
very
good.
strong.
I like that a lot. We do have the swap come through here from DN Freaks as Clear, optimistic, but he is Jax, so he can just counter-strike, and Kellen's there.
Yeah, and they know that Kellen's there, so Clear is just going to be welcomed.
Nice timing, Bad Life.
Yeah.
Well done. I don't mind this trade. I don't mind that we're just going to take Dragon. Swap's a little early, right? You might even be able to still contest for a single Grubby.
Yep, 20 seconds still left on the Grubs like you were talking about. And this Drake is just about dead. Diablo able to get a shove in as well due to no teleport. And so if Diablo just wanders up towards that top side, helps with the Dragon in the meantime, could certainly get themselves into a position to fight for these Grubs. Maybe they don't want to. Maybe they would prefer just to go for a bit of a reset. Vikler is struggling a little in this lane, as we can see. Behind by about a wave.
Pangyan.
Oh dear, Raptor looking to move in. There's the gravity field. Not going to quite find a stun or anything like that, as Kellen just wandered his way over. And Raptor has dove in. Yoshik in position right now as the death ray comes on down, and Raptor gonna have to flash to get himself out of there, but Yoshik immediately follows him. Hebapol right on top of Pangyan, so he's gonna go down. But First Blood already went over to the DN Freaks. 1 for 1 as now Pyosik finds himself in an awkward spot. Kellen really needs to find himself a Polv, but he does not have it off cooldown. And so the BNK Furex just going to have to back away, and the Grubs just go ignored for now.
Bit optimistic from Raptor. It's obvious that they wanted to go for a contesto and at least get a single Grub, because Raptor didn't smite the Dragon. As it looks like a great trade there for Dudu, as Vikler just walks it off, like not actually going to get anything out of that.
That's Boots 2 value, baby. Really nicely purchased there from Vikler. Able to use the walk strat.
Best strat in League of Legends.
Movement speed. So good.
Diablo actually sticking around. Should hit 6 soon, and maybe BNK can get both objectives. Once they see, though, that Raptor is here towards topside, I wouldn't be surprised if Diablo has to play very respectful. And we're going to set up for the dive, though. Kind of. Yeah, there you go. I was about to say. I wish they did, but he didn't. Oh,
okay, he's just dead. He does flash, but Pyosik missing the daggers is suboptimal. And now Pyosik could. Never mind. He just goes untargetable because he's in the Fury, so he's fine. Thought maybe that was on cooldown. It was not. And so that is just a pick onto Diablo. It should be all of the Grubs going over to Raptor. So there is that.
With Sums, though, that's not a bad trade. There was a really, really small timing window because Diablo, as the wave hit 6, so if it was earlier, you could have just ulted the wave. Would have been fine, particularly with the execution being a little spotty there. So we take a look here. Raptor going just too early. And going for the play makes sense because his top side is prio on this roam. But he takes way too much damage. Yoshik actually does a good job, but they do invest the shockwave to kill him, which means that Pungyan does not have that to give himself. And he's 6 here, so Dudu plays it cleanly. Yoshik does not, which makes it look close, but then we remember Teferi is basically Elise. So he's completely fine.
Just can't really do anything about that. So, DN Freaks with about an 800 gold lead.
Does it mean anything?
No, probably not. I would say. I would hazard a guess. It's clear, wandering towards Dudu. One thing I do think, though, about this game is that the DN Freaks have themselves a very easy-to-play teamfight composition.
It's
and I think that bodes exceptionally well for their chances in this game. Keep it simple, stupid is a beautiful philosophy.
There is keep it simple, stupid. There is it does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
There is classic front to back. Don't overcomplicate it. What else do we got? Cost your euphemisms for just play the easiest comp you can.
Yeah, please.
Just point and click it.
Yeah.
Right, what else do we got?
Allow you to do your buttons.
Okay.
Something surmountable. That's a cask as Dudu is really putting in work here against Clear. And Leap Strike comes on down. Clear able to get himself out and holds the flash. How did he hold the flash? That's absurd. Only invested the Grandmaster's Might, which I don't think he's too worried about at all. I feel like that was way more exciting, and then the result was nothing. He had to go home.
Felt like it was more cool.
Yeah.
It was going to be more cool than it ended up being. Yeah, I'm with you. Pioshik, so far, early lead on the Theory. Pantheon jungle still just not seeming that great. We'll see if they can make a play here.
Yeah, that is going to be Raptor being able to pick up the crab, but is Kellen just going to die for it? Diablo says no, as in goes Pioshik, now untargetable, but the culling is going to follow him, and there goes the doggo. Shockwave onto 3, the bullet time! It was the shock time, Chronicler! It happened! Just doesn't do any damage yet.
Didn't do anything! Pioshik,
You were just complimenting him too.
why? Curses aren't real. Why are we going in on the Pantheon? That's the one guy. Alistar also another great target. The Pantheon with E up, he's just never dying. It's not happening.
Oh, Chaos Storm? Oh no, that's not Chaos Storm. That skin confuses me after the rework. Chaos Storm and Gravity Well look the same. Gravity Field, sorry.
So we take another look. Start of this fight. Why are we holding on to Raptor with E? If you just you just have to live a little longer, just a little bit. Just do a little more damage.
Man, the bullet wave looked really cool though. I can't wait for that to do damage.
So that was the bullet wave. We didn't have.
No, that was shock time. That was
shock time.
that was only tasers, you know. Ain't no lethal force in that particular
So if
exchange.
it fails, it's dependent on outcome. If it fails, it's shock time.
Yeah, shock time if
Because
it
we
fails.
sit here in
bullet
shock.
wave if it does stuff. Yeah.
Or you're gonna do like the deep guttural bullet wave.
Bullet wave. Yeah, that's my
Amazing.
plan. I didn't really want to give it away. As all right, there's the alley-oop to himself here for Dudu, and Clear does the same thing again, where he presses Leap Strike and is K.
Doesn't have TP this time. There's a
God, really, Ox? Were they once again like quizzing him on American states instead of him being able to focus on the game?
That's such a classic triple Dan.
That's what the Tridans were doing last time. Oh, you.
I won. When we have the space, I want a three-pronged approach as to how this is not happening again.
Three-hand approach.
Exactly. Well, how are we avoiding these Chemtech souls? It's happening too much.
We'll do that. We'll sort that out in the retro. Don't you
for
worry.
one, I'm sick of ignoring it and pretending it's not happening.
Like,
I'm not actually
just like Caster Curses.
Which are
I'm sick of you pretending that they don't exist.
They are not real.
When you have been the main issue.
They are our brain tricking us. Oh!
All right. That's a play. Raptor is just going to dive on top of Pungyan.
He's dead.
And Shockwave hits onto 2. And unfortunately, there is no time. He's just dead. That is a kill going over to Clear as well. I don't think you could have really put the money in a better spot.
No time? No shock?
No.
It was really funny because
There's just a wave goodbye.
imagine being Pioshik and you're seeing this Pantheon ult in front of you. You're like, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
Good luck, I guess.
I can make him a bit bleedy on his way over there.
Yeah.
Well, bullet time going to come on through. Headbutt Pulve. Okay, Kellen. As Berserker gets a lot of value out of his flash, but will not be able to keep his plates intact here in this mid lane. And there is under a minute left on the plate timer as well.
What is this lane assignment? Why are both Vikla and Diablo mid? Why are we just dropping full waves?
Well,
I guess we're
Pungyon
playing
died
for
and they
turret.
didn't plan for that. And now Pungyon doesn't have flash. And
I'm talking about BNK. Like, I guess they are making the read they can't have anyone near the bot side turret, but
maybe they just wanted to trade.
well, but they're not trading though. Top side turret is fine. I guess it will go down on this wave, but they're gonna lose the trade.
Well, the cannon will stay alive, I guess. Maybe that's the thinking. I don't know. I don't. Look, they know better than I guess. Dudu going to be able to clear out the wave and clear. Be able to pick it up before it crashes. Pretty comfortably done here, as the outer on the top side of the map is also going to go down. Gold entirely even.
Oh, did I mention, by the way? I hadn't actually, because we were talking about the Weep game I was playing.
Oh, yeah,
I forgot
yeah.
to mention the coolest part.
What's the coolest part?
It has 100 different endings.
That is so many different
And they're supposedly they're all flashed out as well. It's not like, you know, you get like a joke ending. Early on,
God.
you do something silly as, oh, Pongya, not again. Not again!
Oh, he's getting ganked by a Lucian. I don't know about that one. Teleport is going to come on in there as Raptor flashes for the stun and just takes away the kill, because he may as well. Yoshik able to dash his way out, but that's not really the response that they wanted. Clear is just going to destroy this turret as well. The amount of jaxing this guy's doing is pretty high.
Dudu went Sunfire, Atlas.
Oh no. Okay, that's not what I wanted the Ruby Crystal to be doing.
No.
The Ruby Crystal is indeed still there, so there's hope, but it's not. There isn't really anymore. Okay, well, I mean, that's probably what the thinking was, right? They wanted a tank, and so I'll just play tank Gragas. We'll have best of both worlds, right?
It's
the early laning phase is
okay.
going to be the same, but then you can't answer the Jax all late.
Yeah, that's my main issue, is that normally you get to outtrade the Jax, and he doesn't really get to get free prior of the wave. Obviously, you never have kill threat as Jax into the Gragas, but I do think that without damage, you can't really get prio. And Sunfire will help if you're standing in the wave. Setup is still good, but I just like, as you're saying, I think you can go for the tanky AP build. I'm not expecting him to go full, you know, crazy full AP glass cannon Gragas. I get that is not what's going to happen.
This Jax skin has a lot going on, by the way. Serious amount of stuff happening. All right. Let's kill Vikla is the game plan here as the quickness comes in first. Doggos are going to close the gap as the flash. Raptor is in position. Shockwave going to pull him out of the stun as well. Nicely done. As now Kellen able to be here to assist Raptor. I just don't know whether it's quite going to be enough. His life is possibly going to die. The Ignite's still ticking, but not going to be enough there. Pungyan also going to be able to stay alive, as is Life, who gets into the alcove of safety. And Diablo is chasing down Berserker and goes back.
I had no vision. Didn't know where Berserker was. While all this is going on, Clear is unbothered in his lane, pushing.
Yeah. Dudu going to do the same thing here. So the gold sort of ping-ponging around a little bit will end up as being pretty even between the two top lanes. But this is a good play from DNF.
It also is a lesson. Don't try to salvage a lost play. Just accept. It's fine. Vikla's dead. Don't waste your flash. Because especially without the flash available, Raptor is just never going to get out of here. As you highlight, really nicely done there as well by Pungyan. Staying alive initially, then cancelling the stun and dash. Then the shield onto life as well, by the way. Without that shield, Rakan dies.
Yeah.
So very cleanly played here.
I feel like as soon as Pungyan gets out of lane, he's a god. Really gets stuff
It's the
done.
laning phase that's the issue.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of another player that used to play for DN Freaks, who I haven't seen in a while, but his name was Bulldog.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I've heard of that guy.
Feel?
All right, Kellen is going to interrupt Life here, and that is going to be the first Chemtech Drake. Raptor now just going to die. Nothing he can do about this one. They take their time. but I just don't think he's going to have anywhere that he can go. Kyoshik is able to get the daggers in. There we go. Clear is, I mean, this is the most split pushy Jax that we've seen in a really long time. He is just staying in a side lane the entirety of this game, and I respect it, absolutely. Rift Herald's going to be thrown down in mid though, and the amount of pressure DN Freaks are putting on to answer this is very, very high. I'll get a charge, they won't be able to get the turret, but that is a lot of damage done to the mid outer.
If it wasn't Camtech, I feel like BNK would be in a really good position, but it is Camtech. And this is not one of the games where I think we can really cope about Camtech being good.
Yeah, something Chemtech angle. Alistair kind of likes it.
Exactly, Atlas. That's, you hear yourself? You're sounding like me. That's
if you get the shield up at a good time, then Pantheon kind of likes it. I don't know.
No, because his shield is like, it's full.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Not.
It doesn't work. I'm looking for the cope, and I can't really get it. There's that Fimbulwinter you were talking about.
It's a good item on Gragas because you can proc the shield very consistently. I was a little disappointed.
Honestly, if he was playing TFT, these would be really good Gragas items.
I don't know anything about TFT.
No, Gragas in TFT is largely just like a tank.
Like in this game?
Yeah. So there you go.
Nice. Thematic consistency. I always appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool.
He's in the strongest comp in the game as well at this point in time. I just can't win with it though, for some reason.
I'm sure that's a game problem, not a you problem.
Oh, it is. It is definitely the game's fault, as per usual. DN Freaks now looking to get some position towards this bottom side, but I don't know whether there's necessarily very much to fight for outside of Articon. That is going to be coming up in about 17 seconds time. So I take it all back. That's exactly why they're here, because both of these teams have been pretty adamant about fighting for it. Diablo with an Infinity Edge completion, though, is big for this next fight, as well as Zeke's Convergence done for Kellen at the same time.
Well, it's telling that Clear actually upgrades his boots. That is not the most efficient use of gold, but this is a really important fight, so he just want to eke out the max amount of value that he can get, as neither team should be starting Articon.
Yes.
Very clear. We know what the debuff does, okay? All of us do. We're all aware. And it turns you into paper.
Yeah, Kyoshik was not very tanky anyway. My God, Life of Kyoshik just taking so much damage from just Raptor, as I believe the buff was still on.
Actually, it wasn't. I was looking at Life's resistances, or at least maybe they just didn't have that many stacks. I think Raptor just got a 5-stack Q. It was very scary.
A lot of damage, yeah.
It was, yeah. Kind of caught me off guard as well. Okay, they're not doing Articon. Great. This is wonderful. It's exactly what... Sometimes we just get what we want.
Yeah. 1 minute.
So what are you...
45 seconds.
What are you playing right now, Atlas?
Been playing a fair bit of Slay the Spire.
In preparation for...
The new Diablo season? No, yes. Slay the Spire 2, I just don't believe it's real until it's going to be real.
Until it's actually on your
console. Even the devs are like messing with people, saying like, oh no, this is what the release date is, this is what it is, aha, it might come out in this year, I don't know. They just really don't care about reaching a deadline, they just want the game to be done, and I actually love that.
At least you're not a Hollow Knight fan. You know, you could have had it much worse.
Yeah, very, very true. Now, I've been playing a fair bit of World of Warcraft Season of Discovery. I've been really enjoying.
Is being a Hollow Knight fan the equivalent of being a KT fan?
Oh, no. I mean, sort of.
Right? I feel like that's very accurate.
Yeah. Because you go back and you watch, like, the 2018 finals. That's like going back and playing Hollow Knight, you know? And it's just, they haven't quite got there for the rest of it.
And then they're like, oh, Silksong's definitely coming out. And then you have like the 2023 KT season.
Yeah. Hey, I saw the direct, you know? Like, it is actually happening, right?
Sure it will.
Tee-hee?
Yeah, certainly.
Okay. Do you know what's also coming out? A team fight, I think, as Kyoshik
does
now flip over the wall. Kellen trying to keep himself healthy. Kyoshik's on target ability is now on cooldown, but the quickness going to be employed here by Life. Kyoshik dives in, but man, he is like paper. Pongyon also just going to be taken out, and I don't think that we're going to get Shocky Wave. It's not happening in this one.
No
They've
Shocky
already
Wave?
tried to use it, and the wave hasn't been used.
No Vanilla Wave? No Strawberry? No Choco Mint?
Oh, Shocky Wave. Delicious.
None of that.
You know what's also delicious? A Chemtech Soul that I think BNK Fearex can just take without too much of a response. I say that. As I do, there is a response.
All right, what about Cookies and Cream? Surely they can do that.
Well,
Come on, DNF Freaks!
see whether they can find it, because they don't have a lot of buttons left up and available. This is still a really important one to go for, as Kellen just trying to deal with Dudu. And this was beautifully played. Make sure they pick this one up. There's the flash in from Clear. I don't know about that one, but Raptor was there to follow up. Life gonna be stabbed and obliterated. And this guy is just a tank. He's an absolute monster. Clear on this Jax just walks into 3 people and cleans it up. I'll take an Otacon as well. BNK Furex, I love how game number 1 was one of the most horrendous throws we've ever seen. But this, the last 2 games, they kept their heads on their shoulders. They played it out and they locked in.
They locked in. That's all they did. You know, that a lesser team might have had that initial game happen to them, just immediate boom. As Pioshik, you are the Fed member on your team. You can play these fights slow. Use your W.
Yeah, don't. Yeah.
What are we doing?
Diving onto Vikla. That's what he was doing, and then flashes out. But unfortunately, a disjointed fight is something that this team will never be able to win, right? They have a beautiful wombo combo team fight composition.
And then here, Clear. Oh my God, flashes over, gets the 3-man counter-strike. Knows he has the Raptor back up. He also has the Chemtech Soul, by the way. So even if he dies, it'll take forever to kill him. Even just a second E would be enough to stall for seemingly an infinite amount of time. And Atlas, I'm starting to be worried that for the DN Freaks, today might not be the day that the...
I'm going to need you to say it first. I'm going to need you to say it first. Well, what is the level of losability?
I'm not going to say
BNK Furex. Can you please tell me that it's unlosable? Can you just please throw that one out for me?
No, because if I think that, I will say that. I don't think it's unlosable.
No, but Costa Curses aren't real, you know. So just say it and then.
No. I don't think Costa Curses are real.
Oh, you just don't think this is unlosable?
I just don't think it's unlosable yet, because the team fight is strong enough. If I think it's unlosable, I will tell you.
Okay. I'd be okay with it even if you were using it just as an exaggeration. I'd be totally fine with that.
Yeah, but then what would be the point?
The point would be so you can curse this game back into a winnable position. It's not hair bet time. No. The gold lead's like 1,000.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's not happening. Yeah, but I do like that our producers are just...
They're ready.
Poking and prodding.
All right, life down to 50%. Just looking for flank angles as, oh my God, the blender has occurred. But maybe it is time. The cask is going to be utilized here, but Berserker, he is already dead. The bullets or the time, they are not going to be able to be utilized in the next upcoming battle. And Clear has made sure that no one has a health bar. Dudu almost just dead as an Empower, I think, would have just taken him out. Thankfully, he gets over his wall. Still in a turret going to fall, and BNK just kind of feels like they can do no wrong. And even when they go down to low health, Chemtech Soul, baby, keeping them up and healthy here.
A small moment of hope as the cask comes through. Looks like the setup might be enough, but it just isn't the damage right now. Berserker ends up going down almost immediately, and Clear, what a Titanic performance on this Jax.
He is an absolute monster.
The Renekton in the last game was already kind of crazy, but then add this on top of it, really, if he can keep this up, because I think he's already been a lot better than he was at LCK Cup, right, over the last couple of weeks. I think he's slowly leveling up. If he keeps this up, maybe it's time to finally herald the call of 2022 DRX Clear. He's finally here!
Oh, yes. I'm hoping, because we were so excited about this player when he was playing in Challenger, him and Thanatos.
Oh my God,
those matchups were so sick. As that sidestep on the cask, absolutely beautiful here by Diablo, and Dudu has absolutely nowhere he can go. Clear also offering so much damage. Pioshik getting in there would have been an absolute mistake. And so the base not broken yet.
All right.
But there's not looking like, it's not looking very winnable.
I'm ready to say it.
Yeah?
Unlosable.
Oh, there it is. There, you heard it here first, chat. Okay.
I think BNK have it in the bag. They have a 18 fight themselves. They're going to get Baron. They're going to march down the base. Yeah. They can't contest because Dudu's dead.
So right after you say that, that's when like Pioshik's supposed to come in and steal Baron. And
he's on the other end of the map.
And yeah, it's like His smite range is not that
I
high.
feel confident in my statement, Atlas. I'm not making it for content.
The losability is not high. Okay, well, DN Freaks, we thought the game 1 was unlosable for being as well as this. Just a face check.
So I think the read here is, oh god, that cask. The read here, which I actually like from Dudu, is he's trying to look for a flank, right? Because they're playing heavily towards top side. It's just that BNK rather is one step ahead of them. So you already have Clear guarding the entrance, because it makes sense for Greg as you want to try and maybe knock the backline into your team. There is an Elder Flip possibility, which I had not considered, and I'm a little worried about. And
what
BNK,
was that? You said unlosable?
Yeah, BNK also did a little bit of trolling in game 1, but I don't think they're going to repeat it. I think they learned. I think they became smarter and better players.
Oh, keep it coming.
Through that through that failure.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Clear has also decided that team fighting is not something he cares about. Raptor is going to W out of Pureshik for the moment. Berserker and Pungyan moving on over. But there is not a lot of ability for DN Freaks to actually get into their own jungle. 4 seconds on the Elder.
What about losability?
Losability is pretty low for BNK FearX, but the lower it goes, the higher it goes.
Oh, it's like it goes full circle.
Yeah. Works 60% of the time, every time. Okay, we've got the Grand Starfall as Raptor comes in. They're not going for a flip, but still the bullet time is decent. Shockwave, though, not doing too much of anything at all. Down goes Pungyan, and the stun onto Pureshik is pretty targetable here, ladies and gentlemen. Clear just wanders over to watch him die, but it's actually going to be the double picked up by Raptor. And BNK FearX, I don't think they even really care about an Elder Drake. They're looking to break open the base right now, and maybe they're going to siege themselves a victory instead of going for any sort of flips or silly stuff like that. Still, there are 3 left alive, one of them being Berserker, who does have some wave clear. Problem is, not a lot of AoE, and there's the flash forward from Raptor. They don't have Berserker anymore. I told a lie. And the counter-strike from Clear comes on through to spell the end of life. Dudu, he's a tank Gragas. He's not going to be killing anyone. He can distract them for a little bit, but instead it's a triple kill for Clear. 6-0-5 on this Jax. Do not get this man a real weapon. He will be way too deadly. BNK FearX, they turn it around and win in game 3.
Some might say, the Atlas actually did say that today we were going to get a 3-0, a best of 3. And after seeing this game, kind of feels that way. But we jest. It's painful for DNF. But I'd like to see only positives here. Outside of that, obviously a terrible decision-making in game 1.
Yep.
For BNK, didn't tilt. They are the better team. That much is obvious. They were able to bounce back. Actually saw really cute interactions as well between Claire and Kellen as they were coming back, and they were just like, we got this, it's okay, I'm sorry,
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
And I do also think that DNF today look a lot better. I know it's not enough, it didn't get them the winner today. They were also reliant, but the performance of Dudu, the performance of Pungyan, the performance of Life all in all. I think Pioshik is still lagging behind, unfortunately. That's a problem they're gonna have to solve.
Yeah.
But Pungyan seems like he's did bring new life into this team. And that's really more than I was expecting, and hopefully a sign for the DN Freaks that things are looking up.
Yep, Kellen continuing on his decent form here as well. And I think that, like, game 1, it was a pretty spectacular throw. It was a bit weird, but these things happen, and I think that they did manage to really address that in a really good way. And there are a lot of teams where something like that could happen and they would 100% lose the series. You know, there are some teams that can let things get to them. KT. Sorry, there's something caught in my throat.
DK.
Super weird, KT.
Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
But BNK, they didn't do that. Stuck with it, stuck to the plan, and got it done.
It also speaks to their strength that today was not the Diablo show. It was the top side that was actually playing
Clear show. Yeah.
really well, which is being able to win for multiple different avenues is one of the biggest indicators that we have for a team being meta resilient and being a lot easier or be a lot harder at it to shut down. So I think that's a good sign for BNK. Again, everything besides the decision making in game 1, I think today for them has been looking up.
Yeah, I would agree. Pungyan there with a great interrupt with his Shockwave. unfortunately, not a whole lot of other great things to say. I think Raptor also having a brilliant day with his Lilia performance
was great.
being absolutely brilliant. And this Pantheon performance there to back up his Jax every single time. But look at this guy, he's a freight train. This Jax, like the Skell skin as well. It's what it kind of looks like to me from Xenoblade Chronicles X. Or Xenoblade X. Is it Chronicles as well?
It's Chronicles, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. As Pioshik diving on forward, I should really know that.
You have
like my
played
favorite game series of all time. Yeah,
200 hours of the game.
I'm a moron.
As we do eventually see the big combo.
Yeah,
but we never saw the bullet wave.
it was shock time.
It was only
every
shock
time.
Yeah. Pioshik still not finding his form. It's rough. He's a player.
It's early in the season, chronically. He doesn't necessarily need to find it.
But
maybe he finds it in the Rise group.
I don't know, Atlas. Even at his worst in the past, Pioshik had the moments.
If we don't,
we're not seeing the moments.
If we don't love him at his worst, then we don't deserve him at his 2022 World Champion. Okay? And maybe that's all right.
I just don't want another Rascal situation.
Oh, true.
Because Rascal, man, and he's here today, right?
Yep, he is.
And that man in 2022 was universally agreed upon to be the best top laner.
He had the most solo kills in the league for like 3 years
on a team that was like 8 or 7. It was disgusting. He didn't make playoffs.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Wow, that was a bit of a drop-off towards the end of that game, as we can see in the goal graph. Some big damage numbers as Berserker did basically nothing. And I think, honestly, if I was Berserker, I would also have not a lot left in the tank, as this guy, he definitely did. They did a whole lot of weird stuff in game 1, and Clear turned around and was like, never again, and just decided to be immortal for the rest of the series.
Even in game 1, let's not forget that Clear, again...
yeah, his chase was amazing.
He stomped the lane. Just a really, really good day for Clear today. If we get some Raptor votes, I think that's warranted. That will make a ton of sense as well.
Yep, I'm okay with Kellen getting some. Oh, we got Diablo joining the Tridans, and it's almost, oh man, it was almost a Dan kind of name as well. It's Dianbal.
Yeah.
We could ask Diablo whether maybe he could become Dianbal just for the Quadra-Dans that we could then get on this.
4 Dans?
That's so many Dans. Maybe that is a few too many Dans.
Is there such a thing as too many Dans? It's like too many.
Yes. Yeah, it's almost already.
It's
too
free,
many Dans.
actually. Already.
We're outnumbered by Dans at the moment, Chronicler. Like, have you considered this? Yeah,
it's us.
I know. We're the Mars versus the Dans today. And the Mars are losing. The Mars are definitely losing. But do you know who isn't losing? It's Clear, who picks up POG, and now it is time for the interview. Throw it over to Dia.
Thank you very much, Max. This is Jisun for the POM interview translation. We are here joined by Clear on the side of BNK Fear X. Congratulations, how do you feel? It's been a while since I got a win and also got the POM to do an interview, so I'm a little shaky, a little nervous, but I will do my best. Everyone, please give it up for Clear. I mean, BNK Fear X is undefeatable in the Saturday Showdown matches. When the stakes are high, you guys are getting stronger. What are your thoughts on the record on the Saturday Showdowns? I mean, I did not really participate in all of the Saturday Showdown matches, so I thought it was irrelevant to me, but now that I have, picked up a couple of wins in the Saturday Showdown as well, I feel like I have been doing some work for the team. Well, game number 1, you had a huge lead on the top lane. The team was having an 8k gold lead as well, but DN Fricks turned the game around. What kind of feedback happened after that game? I mean, we were not really that vocal about the game, but I could tell that everyone is a little bit, losing their mental fortitude. So we wanted to make sure that we can pick ourselves up together for the upcoming potential 2 games. And then game 3, you blind picked Jax, and the opponent locked in Gragas as a counter. Tell us about the mind game behind the drafting. Jax is a very decent blind pickable champion on the top lane, so I wanted to give it a go. Well, you were actually not playing a game against Gragas, you know. You just let him farm as much as he wants to, and you were always ganking Orianna. Was that the winning plan? Yeah, for sure, because looking at the entire game comp, you know, I thought denying the scaling of Orianna would be more important than denying Gragas. And we have a lot of rookies on the side of BNK FearX, and the young players are getting so much spotlights, you know, Raptor, Diablo. So, any message for your teammates? You guys are doing a great job, but still, please stop messing around, okay? Don't pick on me. They're a little cheeky. And BNK FearX's final opponent of the first round will be Hana Life Esports. What is your mindset? Hana Life, a very strong team ahead of us, and their top lane, you know, so good. But still, we were actually preparing for the Hana Life match throughout the season, so I hope we can put up a good fight. And this is going to be the end of the interview with Clear on the side of BNK FearX, and back to the space. Thank you.